Cotuit Kettleers, after a 2-game successful road trip, are back at home at Lowell Park for 2 more games against Western Division foes. In yesterday's game against Wareham, the Kettleers were able to retake the Western Division lead. My name is Josh Ronstein. I'm joined by Will Krause and Ben Gainsborough. It was a successful road trip, as I said. The offense and the bats really came to play, especially last night. But first, on Sunday at Bourne, the offense was there too. The pitching started off well, got a little iffy late, but they were able to hold on. Will.
The Cotuit Kettleers defeated the Bourne Braves 8-6 at Bourne on Sunday night. Zachary McCamley got the start, went an impressive 4 innings, giving up just 1 run, which brought his ERA down to 2.34 on the season. It was the 5th inning that was the big inning for the Kettleers on Sunday night. They scored 6 runs in the inning, starting off with what was technically a stolen base of home by Joey Loperfido as Bourne tried to pick him off at third, but he avoided the tag and ended up scoring the first run to tie the game at 1. Nick Gonzalez would knock in the second run, and then for the third and fourth runs, probably the at-bat of the season really for the Kettleers by Aubrey Major, who pinch hit from the right side as he's a switch hitter and just fouled off pitch after pitch. It was a 13-pitch at-bat and fouled off 7 pitches before doubling down the left field line to put Cotuit up 4-1. Parker Chavers would knock in the next 2 runs in the inning to put Cotuit up 6-1, and Cotuit really wouldn't look back from there. Casey Schmidt also had another great performance. He's been very versatile all season long, pitching in very pressure scenarios for Coach Mike Roberts. He came in with runners in scoring position and ended up closing the game out. It got a little bit rocky in the 9th inning as Bourne would score 3 and even get the tying run up to the plate in the bottom of the 9th, but Casey Schmidt ended up striking out Will Greer to end the game. Casey Schmidt's play defensively especially was described as world-class by Coach Mike Roberts as he made 2 fantastic diving plays to his right at third base earlier in the game before firing to first to record 2 great outs. So it was a really great win for Cotuit on Sunday, 8-6. And then also they won yesterday at Wareham. Here's Ben with a little bit of a recap for that game.
Thanks, Will. Yeah, if you were just watching these last 2 games on the road, you would think Casey Schmidt had hit 50 RBI on the season. He's just on an absolute tear. Had 5 RBI last night against Wareham en route to an 11-5 victory. And this was such a different game from the first time Cotuit traveled to Wareham, which was more of a pitcher's grind. It was a less than 2-hour game, which we basically haven't seen on the Cape League that first game. Only 1 run and 7 combined hits in that game. The last game, last night, it was 11-5, and there were more than 20 hits combined for the 2 teams. Getting the start for Cotuit was Chris Farrell, and it was nice to see him get back on track, as he really hasn't had a great start since that first start of the season. He pitched 3 innings, and then Matt Moore pitched 3 innings, and then Richard Brereton pitched 3 innings. So we saw that 3-3-3 that Mike Roberts likes to go to. Schmidt was the key offensively with a home run and a double, but also Mason McWhorter returned from a sickness. He hadn't played in a week, and he looked like he didn't even miss a step. He had 2 doubles, a couple RBI, and overall it was just a very fruitful game offensively for Cotuit. The pitching staff was solid, and they were able to pass Wareham, who was first place in the West coming into that game. And now Cotuit's first place in the West, and I caught up with Mike Roberts after the game, and here's that.
Okay.
It's so weird for me now that Ben holds it like this.
Oh, you got
So the offense has been red hot in these past 2 games, 8 against Bourne, another 11 tonight. What is most impressive with that recent stretch?
Well, I think the guys are coming to work on their swing, and when guys continue to come early because they want to be there, not because it's coach motivated, it's self-motivated. As I tell our little campers every morning, hey, make your bed, man, self-motivated, not mom motivated. You know, these guys are very self-motivated and working on it. You know, and again, it's not 9 guys every night, without a doubt, and as I told them, some guys go home with their head up and some guys go home with their head down. But again, when we wake up in the morning, it's a we thing. It's we, okay? It's not an I thing. And so we bounce back and we work at this together. But they've really swung the bat well. And last night at Bourne and tonight, so I can't do anything but congratulate them for their effort, for their work, and for their competitiveness in the ball game.
You have some hard throwers in your bullpen, Kyle Nicholas, Beckway, these kind of guys. Matt Moore doesn't throw as hard as those guys. What makes him so hard to hit?
Well, he hasn't been hard to hit until tonight, and Matt knows that. Tonight was the best outing of the year for Farrell, Moore, and Brereton. That really did outstanding job. I was thrilled against. They have 8 left-handed hitters. I think they're still leading the league in hitting. So I was just really pleased with the 3 pitchers that went out there tonight. You ask about Matt. I thought as we spoke when he came off the field for his final inning, he kept his fingers behind the baseball tonight. And when he keeps his fingers behind the baseball, he has pretty good stuff. When those fingers get on the side, it has a tendency to run in that first base box too much, and it hurts him. But tonight he stayed behind the baseball, and he was very effective.
There was an early moment in the game when Adam Oviedo hit a fielder's choice that moved a runner along, and you were very supportive when he was coming off the field. What impressed you with that hit? What impressed you with that at bat?
Well, Adam's working on Brian, my son, helped him some while he was here last week, and Adam's trying to kind of get his swing much more consistent in a particular pattern, a little bit more downward, hit the ball up the middle, and he didn't have a good at bat, and then he came back and made an adjustment. And that's what hitters that are improving must do. They have to make in-game adjustments. And sometimes, it's just moving runners up a base. And I think the ball you're talking about is the ball he hit to third base, and he hit it the correct way, hit it really well. So, again, it's not always getting a base hit a lot of times. It's hitting the ball well, maybe in your second at bat, to prepare yourself for a really good third at bat.
Meanwhile, today's opponents, the Bourne Braves, are coming off a spanking of the Falmouth Commodores. They beat them by 2 touchdowns yesterday, 14-0. It was capped off in the 8th inning, a grand slam for Jackson Greer, his first home run of the season. And Mac Ladver continued to dominate on the mound. 7 more shutout innings. He lowered his league-low ERA to 0.82. It snapped a 3-game losing streak for the Braves, who are now 5 points up on the 5th place Hyannis Harbor Hawks for that all-important last spot in the East and the West division, as the top 4 teams do make the playoffs. Stats-wise, Bourne on offense, they don't really produce that much in the terms of RBIs and home runs. They're last in the league in both those categories. However, they are patient at the plate with the 2nd most walks in the league, and it's quite the opposite on the mound. They don't walk a lot of guys, but they don't strike out a lot of guys either. So they're going to give you pitches to hit, and they're going to make their defense do the work. And it has paid off. Their defense is best in the league, 2nd fewest errors in the league. So the pitchers allow their opponents to put the ball in play for the most part. The defense behind them makes the plays. So it'll be an interesting matchup to watch as we get closer to first pitch. We'll now throw it up to Sam Niederman and R.M. Layton, our Cotuit Kettleers broadcasters, for their thoughts pregame, as well as Coach Mike Roberts' thoughts pregame.
Welcome into Lowell Park. It is game number 25 on the Cotuit Kettleers season. This afternoon, the Kettleers take on the Bourne Braves in a Western Division battle. Happy that you're along with us. Sam Niederman, R.M. Layton. We are in the Arnold Mycock press box right behind home plate. R.M., last night the Kettleers got the job done on the road at Wareham. An 11-5 win, and it all started at the plate with an aggressive approach. And in particular, Casey Schmidt was lights out again.
Casey Schmidt was phenomenal. He finished 3 for 4, a home run and a pair of doubles. He drove in 5, and he's really starting to swing a hot bat for this offense. But like you said, Sam, it was top to bottom. Of course, Casey led the way, but Albury had 3 hits. Mason McCorder had 3 hits. Robbie Martin picked up his first hit, and it was a triple. A lot of guys through the lineup did a great job yesterday, and that's why you saw 11 runs against a tough Wareham ball club.
Cotuit jumped out to a 3-0 advantage. Casey Schmidt, a big reason why he finished up 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles, a home run, and 5 driven in. Even Mason McCorder, right behind him in the 6th spot of the lineup, went 3 for 5 with a couple of doubles and 3 driven in. Now the Kettleers are back in first place in the Western Division at 12-10-2. Today's opponent, the Bourne Braves, currently in 4th place, 5 points clear of Hyannis with an 8-14 record. These 2 clubs met on Sunday, an 8-6 victory for the Kettleers, and we have a different pitching matchup this time around. Harrison Rutkowski goes for Bourne, a left-hander out of Rutgers. Opposite Beck Way, a right-hander for the Kettleers, making his first start on the summer. What can we expect from Beck tonight?
Well, it's Beck's first start, like you said. He's got phenomenal stuff, and you'll hear Coach Roberts talk about it in the interview in a few minutes. He's got great stuff, but it's about throwing strikes and setting up that great off-speed pitch he has. So can he get ahead of batters? If so, he can make a longer outing happen today, and that's what the Kettleers need.
It was a successful night for the Kettleers in Wareham. Hey, Coach Roberts, what made the bats click at the plate?
I don't know. I think the wind was blowing out. I'm not really sure. The starting pitcher on the mound for Wareham I thought had good stuff, and we got a break with an error early and took advantage of it, and then Casey had a big hit down the line to get us off to a 2-0 start, and it kind of became contagious. So, I certainly give all the credit to them. It wasn't anything that Coach Roberts or the assistant coaches did. I think they just came ready to play, and offensively it kind of took off for us.
Another thing that was contagious was the energy last night. Your club was hooting and hollering from the dugout. Everybody's having fun at this point in the season, right?
Well, we're trying to certainly they've worked every day to get better, but I do think they like each other. They enjoy being around each other, and as long as they hoot and holler in the right way, then it's okay. And I actually think last night in Wareham they just sit and listen to you broadcast on top of the dugout, and that's when they hoot and holler.
That's funny.
So Beck Way gets the nod this time for the first time this summer. He's mostly worked as a short stint reliever for you. What factored into giving the decision to give him the nod today for you?
Well, I think he deserves it. I think he deserves an opportunity to have a clean slate and start a game. Got a great arm. Still very immature on the mound. But all of us have to understand that he did not pitch this spring. And so he's making up for a lot of inexperience now we're trying to get him some experience as we head toward the second half of the season. And, I'm just hoping that he has anywhere from 2 to 4 good innings, solid, throw strikes, first pitch strikes. I think if as you watch from the press box, if you see him throwing first pitch strikes, then I think he's got a chance to stay out there several innings. If he's behind the hitters, he's got good stuff, but maybe not that good of stuff. But we'll hope he gets out of some of those jams. But maybe there won't be any. Maybe he'll go 9, 12, 15 hitters really well. And that's what we need, because right now, unless somebody puts their name on the board, we're at 4 pitchers tonight, and that's all that's available. And so Coach Roberts may be closing tonight if we don't get there. So you don't want to see that. But I think the 4 guys will do absolutely fine, just like the 3 guys did last night.
Another thing we've seen frequently from your pitching staff is a move over to second base with the runner on. Why so frequent with that? What's the idea behind it, and what kind of technique are you looking for with that pickoff to second base?
I don't know, really. I mean, we're just kind of playing around a little bit, and in a very positive baseball manner, and we certainly do not want anybody stealing third base on us. We want to curtail that, and I want to see how athletic our pitchers are. When you look at pitchers today in this game, and they field a bunt or they field a swinging bunt, so many of them are not confident and comfortable throwing the ball to bases. And so one of the kind of reasons behind the madness is let's get comfortable throwing the bases, any base. And they've hit a couple guys and they've thrown a couple into center field, but it's been okay. I like it. I think it's helped our club. And so all kidding aside, I think it's been a very positive element for us to try to work in pickoffs more often, not necessarily because we're going to pick anybody off, but one so that we get to that moment where we might, just as you all saw the other night, when McCamery picked the guy off at second base with Oviedo, and that turned out, possibly to be a very big out.
How tough is it for your middle infielders in that kind of situation in the covering part of it?
No, that's easy. They should be your best glove people out there on the field, except us catchers. Our catchers are always better glove men than the shortstop and second baseman, but because we have to catch 150, 60, 70, 80, whatever pitches it is every game. But they do a great job. I'm telling you, I love my club. I really love this team, and they're very efficient, and including Mr. Wolf, who just walked by and waved, the big 6'7" giant there. And But Adam and Nick in the middle really are good baseball players. So when they put it on, I'm very confident that we got some good things happening.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All righty. That's Coach Roberts, and we are back at Lowell Park. This is Cotuit against Bourne. It's game number 25 on the summer for the Kettleers. Cotuit 12-10-2 with 26 points to lead the Western Division. Bourne at 8-4 with 16 points, fourth in the Western Division. I'm Sam Niederman alongside Arm Layton. Glad that you're along for the ride tonight. Hope you're having a great week. It is Tuesday. It is sunny with clear blue skies overhead. Another gorgeous day at Lowell Park. You couldn't ask for a better one at this picturesque, pristine site on the Cape Cod Baseball League. Aram, let's look at the pitching matchup again. Harrison Rutkowski pitched against the Kettleers back on last Tuesday. He went 4 innings and allowed a couple of runs. Only one of them was earned, and the Kettleers knocked him around for 9 hits in a game in which Cotuit won 6-1. What are the keys for Cotuit at the plate against him?
Well, the interesting thing about that performance by Rutkowski, it was his worst of the season. Otherwise, he's been the ace for this Bourne staff. You'll go through his numbers a little bit later, but just a 1.89 ERA. And Kettleers have struggled against lefties so far this season. So they need to keep doing what they've been doing, battling with 2 strikes, shortening up, and putting the ball in play. It was a big part of their success at Wareham yesterday.
Bourne is coming off of a 2-touchdown win over Falmouth yesterday. They won 14-0 and came out of nowhere, producing 13 hits. It was a huge comeback win after losing against the Kettleers on Sunday 8-6. Jackson Greer led the charge with a grand slam that came in the 8th inning of play. And Harvey Shapiro hopes that his offense can keep things going up against a right-hander tonight. Beck Way for the Kettleers making his first start, his league-leading 9th appearance on the year. 2 wins opposed to just 1 loss with a 1.17 earned run average. We've seen him in limited action, and he faces off a lineup that goes like this. Judd Fabian plays left field and bats first. Xavier Warren plays at third base and bats second. Cade Beloso, the first baseman, batting third. Jake Glowenke at shortstop batting cleanup. Cody Morissette at second base batting fifth. And Jarrett Poland, the designated hitter, bats sixth. Kyle Hess in right field batting 7th, Jacob Campbell behind the plate batting 8th, and Giovanni DiGiacomo, the center fielder, bats 9th. Harrison Rutkowski, a lefty, on the mound for Bourne. Once again for Harvey Shapiro's Bourne Braves, Fabian in left, Warren at third, Beloso at first, Glowenke at short, Morissette at second, Poland the DH, Hess in right, Campbell behind the plate, and DiGiacomo in center field. Beck Way has been an exclusive reliever all summer long. The profile on him, a high-velocity fastball with some good off-speed stuff as well. What does he have to do in a starting role to be successful this afternoon?
Well, he's inherited a lot of bad situations as a reliever. He's been tasked to try and get the Kettleers out of some jams with the great stuff like you mentioned. Now he gets a clean slate, and he's got to be stretched out a little bit here. As you heard Coach Roberts mention, he's only got about 3 or 4 pitchers he can go to today. So getting ahead of hitters, getting in good counts against these solid Bourne hitters that just put up 14 runs yesterday. He's got to go deep into this game, and he's got good stuff, just got to get ahead.
The Kettleers are back in first place in the West, and they're up against the Bourne Braves today at home. Beautiful afternoon in Cotuit, 80 degrees, clear skies, and a lot of sun. Bourne's in town, and they're at the plate first. Judd Fabian starts things off from the right side. Beck Way on the first base side of the rubber, making his first start on the entire season for the Kettleers, his 9th appearance overall. Beck works out of the stretch, comes set, and slings in a first pitch fastball that's ripped into left center field. Fabian put a charge on it and put it out of here on the first pitch of the game. Judd Fabian, a solo home run, and Bourne's off and running with a 1-0 lead in the first.
And that's something we saw Nick Gonzalez do the other day. Not your typical leadoff hitter, Judd Fabian, and he's up there to hit, not see a lot of pitches. He jumps on the first one and clobbers it to left center.
First pitch came in at 5:01, and it came out over the left field fence. Judd Fabian with his second home run of the summer. Bourne's already up 1-0 in the top of the first inning. Nobody on, nobody out, and here's Xavier Warren, the left-handed batting third baseman out of Central Michigan. 1-0 Bourne. Way resets, leg lift, and he deals home outside with a fastball at 88 miles an hour. Typically, we'll see him live at 94 or so tops. He's even ripped it up to 95 miles an hour. 1 ball and no strikes on Warren. A .253 batter with 7 driven in this summer. 1-0. Slider on the inside corner, called for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Warren working on a 3-game hitting streak. 1 for 3 last night with a couple of ribbies in the win over Falmouth. Casey Schmidt plays in on the edge of the grass at third base. Rest of the infield and outfield straight up. 1-1. Wave and a miss. Good slider again, low in the zone. Way gets ahead. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Starting defense for Cotuit today. Beck Way, the pitcher. Cody Pasek behind home plate as the catcher. Mason McWhorter starts for the second night at first base. Nick Gonzalez at second base. Casey Schmidt at third. 1-2 slider. That's in there on the outside corner. A called strike 3. Beck Way gets a strikeout after surrendering the leadoff home run. There's one out here in the top of the first inning.
Great job by Way to battle back there. Of course, you give up the solo shot, but sometimes it's just a good swing. He's able to battle back and get a quick out, and it's just 1 run, right? You just gave up the solo shot. There's still a lot of ball game left, and he can settle in here. It's not the end of the world.
Warren goes down looking. 1-0 Bourne in the top of the first. 1 out and the base is empty for Cade Beloso. Left-handed batting first baseman out of LSU. Way's first pitch to him. Fastball hung on the inside corner for strike 1. Adam Oviedo, the starting shortstop for Cotuit today. Robbie Martin gets the call in left field again. Parker Chavers plays in center field, and Aubrey Major in right field. 0-1. Off-speed pitch, down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike on Beloso. He's been very effective at first base. He's reached in 12 consecutive games for the Bravos. 2 for 3 with a ribby last night against Falmouth. The 1-1. Swing and a miss on a slider, down and out. Way gets ahead once more. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Judd Fabian, a leadoff solo home run on the first pitch of this one. Xavier Warren struck out looking on 4 pitches. Beloso's in a 1-2 hole with 1 out and nobody on at the top of the first. Way closed off out of the stretch. 1-2. High fastball, 93 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cotuit's in the home white pinstripes this afternoon, trimmed in maroon. Maroon caps with the script C in silver on the front. Bourne in the road blue tops trimmed in red on gray pants. 2-2. Slider down and in at the ankles. Full count on Beloso. Way at 6'3", a very lanky frame. Heading into his junior year out of Mechanicsburg, PA at Belmont Abbey College, a Division II program. He's set at the shoulders for the 3-2. Slider just misses inside, and Beloso works a walk with 1 out in the top of the first. He's aboard for the 13th game in a row. And Bourne's got a runner on with only 1 out, already leading 1-0 at Cotuit for the cleanup batter, Jake Lewenke. Walks have been a little bit of an issue for Way. He's only pitched 8 innings so far this season. He's struck out 10 and has now walked 8 in that time span. Jake Lewenke climbs in from the right side, runner on with 1 out. Middle infield at double play depth. And a throw over to first. Mason McWhorter holds and picks it high out of the air. 1-0 Bourne in the top of 1. Lewenke, a .266 batter with 7 RBI. On a little bit of a 3-game hitting streak here. Slider from Way, that's in there on the corner for strike number 1. 3-man umpiring crew today. Ronaldo Cuckrum calls the balls and strikes behind home plate. Sam Finn, the first base umpire. And Kevin Gould, our third base umpire, in between the mound and second right now with the runner on. Way's 0-1. Bending slider that catches the inside corner once more. 0-2 on Lewenke.
Good pitch there by Way. It was a slider that started off the plate inside. Nothing you can do with that if you're Lewenke. Comes right back and gets the corner.
1 on with 1 out in the first. 2-strike pitch. Breaking ball in the other batter's box. Good dig by Cody Pasek, who's back behind the plate tonight. Sam Ferry started last night at Wareham. Colton Kessler came back into the lineup as a batter in the DH over the last couple of nights on Sunday at Bourne. 1-2, breaking pitch away, and another swing and a miss by Lewenke. Could not hold up on a check swing, and Beck Way's got another strikeout for the second out here in the first.
As I said earlier, Way really settling in now. Fabian was able to jump on a fastball to start the ball game off, but it doesn't mean he's off by any means, and he's showing a great feel for that slider early on and settling back into this ball game.
1-0 Bourne on Fabian's solo home run on the first pitch of the game. 2 outs in the visiting half of the first with a runner on first and Beloso, and here's Cody Morissette. Left-handed batting second baseman takes a strike at the knees. Morissette out of Boston College, a .306 batting average coming into this afternoon. 1 home run and 3 driven in. Schmidt in on the grass at third base a little bit. 0-1. Change up slung in away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Morissette working on a 5-game on-base streak. 0 for 3 with a walk last night in the 14-0 defeat of Falmouth. Way from the stretch, 1-1. Fastball chopped over to second base. Gonzalez fields it, and that's the inning. Beck Way gives up a leadoff solo home run on the first pitch of this ball game, but then comes back to get 3 of the next 4 batters. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base for Bourne. And the Kettleers come to the plate on the other side of this break. Bottom of the first on your way here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Back to Lowell Park. 1-0 Bourne in the bottom of the first inning. Judd Fabian, a leadoff solo home run to left center for the Braves. And now it's the Kettleers' turn at the plate, up against a left-handed pitcher, Harrison Rutkowski from Rutgers. Second time that Cotuit's faced him this season. They went up against him last Tuesday at home and had him on the hook for the loss in 4 innings of work. He gave up 2 runs on 9 hits, walked 1, and struck out 2. This time, Rutkowski goes up against a lineup that sounds like this. Nick Gonzalez, the second baseman, bats leadoff. Aubrey Major plays right field and bats second. Casey Schmidt at third base, batting third. Mason McWhorter up to the cleanup spot, playing first base. Cody Pasek, the catcher, bats fifth. Parker Chavers in center field, batting sixth. And it's Robbie Martin who gets the call in left field, batting seventh. Arajanu, the DH today, batting eighth. And Adam Oviedo, the shortstop, bats ninth. Beck Way worked the first inning, gave up the only run on the home run. And once again for Mike Roberts, Cotuit Kettleers, Gonzalez at second, Major at right, Schmidt at third, McWhorter at first, Pasek the catcher, Chavers in center, Martin in left, Anu the DH, and Oviedo at short. Nick Gonzalez has reached in every game so far this summer, 24 in a row right out of the gate, longest active streak in the entire Cape League. Gonzo carries a .345 clip into this one, 30 for his first 87. Rutkowski's first pitch punched high in the air to right. Hess backtracks and then comes in on it against the sun for out number 1. Both leadoff batters swing at the first pitch. Judd Fabian drove his first pitch into the left center trees for a home run, and this time it's Nick Gonzalez who flies to right.
Neither are your typical leadoff hitter, really aggressive. Hit in the middle of the order a lot this spring, and they're just taking advantage of hitting leadoff and seeing a lot of strikes and jumping all over it. Both have had success doing so this year.
One down with the bases empty in the bottom of 1-0 Bourne, and here's Aubrey Major. First pitch from Rutkowski, tagged on the inside corner for a strike. Major, a switch hitter batting from the right side. He's on a 4-game hit streak. He's reached in 11 of his 12 appearances. 0-1 from the lefty. Fastball, jammed him on a swing and a miss. 0-2. Major .395 at the plate so far. 17 of 43 with 7 doubles, a league best. 7 RBI as well. 0-2. Fastball high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Major a 3 for 5 night at Wareham yesterday. Lanky and batting from the right side with an open stance. 1-2 popped up, short right center field. Morissette backpedals and calls for it, and that's out number 2.
Rutkowski's really good at running that fastball in on the hands of right-handed hitters. He's had success doing that all year, and he's a guy that's going to be right around the strike zone. Only 4 walks so far this season as opposed to 19 strikeouts. And Kettleer hitters are going to have to be aggressive, but also not chase those fastballs on the inner hands that can break your bat.
Two down with the bases empty in the bottom of one. Casey Schmidt's turn. 1-0 Bourne. Schmidt is the hottest hitter in this entire Cotuit lineup. And he takes a fastball low for ball number 1. He's on a 4-game hitting streak, and he has been remarkable over the course of the last 3 games. 8 for his last 18 with a home run, 3 doubles, and 6 driven in. Ahead in the count here, 2-0. He was the key last night at Wareham, 3 for 4, a hit batsman. Jacked his 4th home run of the summer, and drove in a total of 5. Breaking ball fouled away, 2 balls and 1 strike. It's 1-0 Bourne in the bottom of 1. 2 outs and nobody aboard for Schmidt, third baseman out of San Diego State. Rutkowski ready to wind up. The pitch. Fastball letter high, 3 balls and 1 strike. Jacob Campbell, the catcher today for Bourne. Cade Beloso at first base. Cody Morissette at second. Xavier Warren at third. And Jake Lewenke, the shortstop. 3-1. Sliced into right field. Here comes Hess. He's got it in the sun for out number 3. A perfect inning for Harrison Rutkowski on the mound for Bourne. And the Kettleers go down 1-2-3. 1-0 Bourne, and we're on to the 7th. The 2nd rather. We'll be right back in just a moment. This is Cotuit Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. The Braves are at the plate with 6, 7, and 8 against the right-hander Beck Way, Jared Poland, Kyle Hess, and Jacob Campbell due up in this frame. We are pleased to have a guest with us in the booth for this inning. Mike Reiss, the Patriots beat writer for ESPN.com, and his son Nathan is here with us in the booth. Mike, the son of our great Kettleers public address announcer Roy Reiss, who's in the booth next door, been doing it for a long, long time, and Mike has been the New England Patriots beat writer for some time as well, and it's our 2nd year in a row having you in the booth, my friend. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Well, it's great to be here. You sound great as usual, and this is one of our favorite things to do at this time of year over the summer. We come down and see Nathan sees his grandfather, and we watch some great baseball, so we love it. It's
awesome to have you. It's been a wild year for you. How are things?
Well, things are great. I hope better than the hit batsman there with that first pitch there. But things are great. I mean, we talked last year about the Patriots, and here we are, talking about another Super Bowl championship. It's remarkable, this run they're on.
Unbelievable. New England captures their 6th under Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, beating the Los Angeles Rams this past February in Atlanta. It was something that you had a front row seat for the entire season long. So we could start right there, my friend, and chop it up. I'm sure a lot of the listeners are dying to hear about your insight on where the team stands in the dynasty at this point. A runner on first base for Bourne with nobody out and Kyle Hess at the plate. What was the most surprising thing about this season for New England?
Well, the most surprising thing when we look back on it is they were not playing great football in early to mid-December. And Tom Brady always says that you really find out about your team after Thanksgiving. And so here we are in mid-December, just to take you back for those who forgot. You know, you have that terrible loss in Miami where they lose on the last play, a fluke, this sort of Hail Mary type situation.
There's a base hit in the left from Kyle Hess. First and second with nobody out for Bourne in the second inning. 1-0, Kettleers trailing.
So they go 9-4 at that point, you know, and you're sort of like, how could they lose a game like that? And then they go to Pittsburgh and they lose there, and it, you know, sort of like not really firing on all cylinders. 9-5 at that point, you know, with 2 games to go, and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, maybe it's just not their year, and they end up playing their best football when it counted late, which was a little bit unusual because usually they turn it on a little bit before then.
One of the big key low points was that Miami Miracle at Hard Rock Stadium. You were there. What was your reaction to that play, and what was the state of the team after that loss?
Well, I remember, you know, in this age of social media, we have to have these sort of initial reactions to what happens. And, you know, I think that I had 3 words that I said right as it went down. I think I said, House of Horrors, right? Because Miami, for the Patriots, for whatever reason, strange things happen down there. And the Dolphins have not been, you know, one of the better, you know, teams in recent decades. But for whatever reason, the Patriots seem to struggle down there. So I just remember, you know, thinking that right as it went down, and just how uncharacteristic it was. The Patriots never lose games like that, you know. They're never the ones to lose it. It's usually the other team that's losing it, and they take advantage of their mistakes. And being in the locker room after the game, I do remember everyone manning up. I will say that about the Patriots. You know, they never shy away from it, and they manned up and said, we will respond from this, and they certainly did in a big way.
And that big way was winning a 6th Super Bowl championship. They beat the LA Rams, did it in an probably in a way that they hadn't done it before, played a lot of great defense, were able to go on the road and beat the Kansas City Chiefs for an AFC title. How would you describe where this team is at in their dynasty right now? Tom Brady, 40-plus years old, Rob Gronkowski, no longer with the club, obviously, or no longer in the fold like we would have expected, perhaps. Where does that all stand from your vantage point?
You know, it's interesting. I look at it from 2 different ways. The first is, where are they in their dynasty? You know, they're still in it, right? And how much longer they're in it, we really don't know, because I don't think anyone thought it would have happened to go this long, right? So I always look at it from Tom Brady's years. You know, he's going to be 42 on August 3rd. He wants to play another 4 years. So we're looking at a 4-year window here with Brady. And you got 4 more for Brady with Belichick. I mean, there could be 4 more titles. You never know.
You just never do know. This is Mike Reiss joining us here in the booth. New England Patriots beat writer for ESPN.com. 2 on for Bourne here in the top of the second inning with 1 out. Jacob Campbell just struck out on a check swing. Mike, what about Tom Brady makes him so unique at this stage in his career with his preparation and routine from what you've observed?
You know, what makes him so unique is how committed he is to all the preparation.
There's a ground ball to first base, 3 unassisted to retire the batter, and Giovanni DiGiacomo. Both runners advance into scoring position. Second and third now with 2 away.
And so here's what I mean by that. You know, you talk to people who, you know, or you listen to people who have played at that point in their career. Think of Brett Favre in his 40s, Warren Moon, Steve DeBerg, Vinny Testaverde, some of the quarterbacks that played into their 40s. They would tell you, like, Sunday and game day, like, those are the best days. I'd wake up and do that every day. But it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Those are the hard days to get yourself ready for Sunday. And that's why most of those guys end up retiring. It's not that they don't want to do Sundays anymore. They don't want to do the work that it takes to get to that point. And Tom Brady is so committed. This comes down to everything from what he eats to how he plans his days.
There's a pop-up by Judd Fabian into left field. This time it'll be playable for Robbie Martin, who's able to make the play, and that's the end of the inning. So no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and a couple left in scoring position for Bourne. It's still 1-0 as we head on to the bottom of the second. We'll keep it right here and shoot the breeze with Mike Reiss, Patriots beat writer on ESPN.com. You go on, so his eating that everybody knows about the strawberries and all that, right?
So it's everything, and then I can say, so I'm in my mid 40s now with 2 kids, right? And so it's even the fatherhood aspect of it. Like, he stayed away from the voluntary workouts with the Patriots, and some people say, well, how could you stay away if you are that committed? But he's so committed to not just being the best football player, but being the best husband and being the best dad. And so when he stays away from those voluntary practices, he's at home with his kids, and he's letting his wife, who has a great career herself, go pursue her dreams. And so I think that's fascinating when you think about it. Like, he's filling up his bucket at home and feeling like a good husband, a good dad. So when he comes back to the start of training camp, and they're going to report on he's going to report July 17th with the rookies, or July 21st. They're going to practice on July 25th for the first time. Like, he's all in. Like, it, and that sort of helps him, he says, fill his tank and be at his best for that time.
So we're getting closer to football than we think. How is this year's team going to look compared to the ones in the past?
Well, you mentioned Rob Gronkowski, and I think when we talk about big questions surrounding the team, it's like, how are they going to reinvent themselves without Gronk? Now, they've had some practice doing that because he's missed some time with injuries, right? And he probably wasn't the same player that he had been in the past, this past year. But that's the first question. What do they have at tight end, and is it enough, and do they have to sort of reshape themselves? So the players they have is Matt LaCause, a guy who fantasy footballers might say, oh yeah, he sort of came on last year with 24 catches, for the Broncos. Benjamin Watson, Steven Anderson, and Ryan Izzo. But they're probably going to have to tap their other positions, because that's a big drop-off without Gronk.
Kettleers back at the plate here in the bottom of the second inning, down 1-0 against the Bourne Braves. It's 4-5 and 6-2 up, beginning with Mason McWhorter. Harrison Rakowski still on the mound for Bourne. He's down in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Mike Reiss joining us in the booth, New England Patriots beat writer for ESPN. Mike, if you look at this Patriots team, then it's Tom Brady is still there, so you can never count him out, obviously. What about the defense, though, since they really were crucial in last year's title run?
I just love the point that you made about the way they played against the Rams and with the defense, and even going back, 2 weeks before that against the Chiefs in the AFC title game. They had shut them out at halftime. I mean, that offense on the road. And so Patriots defense, the way I look at them is they could be as good as those early championship teams in 01, 03, 04. We might sort of see a throwback to that type of era.
McWhorter, a deep fly ball to right field, but Hess is able to make the catch right at the top of the fence. He backed right into it and made a nice little play battling the sun. Leadoff man retired for Cotuit here in the bottom of the second inning. Mike Reiss here with us in the booth. Defense is going to be big. Trey Flowers re-signed, correct?
Well, so Trey ends up in Detroit.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He went. Okay, so you went to Patricia then.
Yes, he ends up in Detroit. Michael Bennett, who they acquired in a trade from the Eagles, probably steps in and replaces him, but a little bit older. We'll see if it's a one-for-one. They might need a couple guys to fill in there to replace Trey Flowers.
Here's Cody Pasek down in the count, no balls and 1 strike. You're on the inside in the locker room of one of the NFL's most prestigious franchises and clearly the greatest dynasty the league has ever seen. What is something that you see on the inside that would be surprising or somebody from the outside would not notice about the New England Patriots?
Well, we were talking a little bit about Tom Brady before, and I think the idea that I always come back to is when your best player is your hardest worker and maybe your most humble guy, it sets a tone, throughout the locker room. So, when Tom Brady comes up to the new player who walks in who's a rookie and says, "Hi, I'm Tom," and the rookie's like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I know who you are. You're Tom Brady." There's a humbleness there, and it's a team-first mentality when your star is submerging his own ego, for all is one.
Broken back ground ball to second base. Morissette scoops it on the run and makes a nice play for out number 2. Pasek retired. Now it's Parker Chavers up for the Kettleers. That humility is remarkable.
Yeah, and that's the type of thing, and they really are all operating on the same script. I think one of the things I would say, being in the locker room with 53 players on the roster, 10 players on the practice squad, undoubtedly inevitably you're going to have some players that are on their own program or their own agenda. But with the Patriots, it's like they're all in lockstep. And I don't know if it's, whether it's Bill Belichick setting the tone. It probably is. No one wants to lose their job because he's hiring and firing. They're all sort of operating off the same script, talking about the same talking points. It's a well-oiled machine on and off the field.
Off the field, that also involves your part of things in media coverage. Parker Chavers a bouncing ball, and that gets past Beloso at first base. The Kettleers extend the inning. We'll see how they score that one, whether it's a hit or an error. What's one good tip you would give to anybody in media to navigate a Coach Belichick presser?
Well, that's really, really good question. I mean, the first tip I would say to navigate any presser is never take it personally.
Yeah.
Because he's fighting back on everyone, right? And I would say how you word your questions, if you're in it, in the media, is as important as anything, because he's going to parse every word and he's going to find an out. Really probably with whatever you ask, but you try to make it hard for him by asking a well-worded question.
What do you remember about your first year covering the Patriots?
My heart pounding every time Bill Belichick got up to the podium. I think it took me about 3 months to ask my first question.
Oh, no kidding.
I was so nervous. He's such a presence. And I remember finally mustering up the courage to ask a question, and it was probably so far out of left field, at the time. But it felt good to ask it, and with that comes confidence, right? And then it becomes more natural over time. But yeah, a lot of nervousness, eyes wide open, just sort of trying to figure out how do you do this, basically.
Robbie Martin's the batter for the Kettleers. 2 outs and a man on, and the Kettleers are down 1-0 in the second inning against the Bourne Braves. Mike Reiss with us here in the booth, New England Patriots beat writer for ESPN.com. Mike, kind enough to join us for the second summer. His son Nathan is hanging out here in the booth as well, enjoying some time at the ballpark. Ground ball up the middle is short, taken by Glowenke, and he sprints to second, just beat the runner and Shavers in the nick of time. 6 unassisted to get a force out, and that retires the side here in the second. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base for Cotuit. 2 innings in the books, 1-0 Bourne. Mike, thank you so much for joining us, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Keep up the great work, and best of luck to Cotuit the rest of the season.
Appreciate it, my friend. That's Mike Reiss, New England Patriots beat writer. We'll be back with a third inning on the other side of this break. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Beck Way working his third inning here. 1-0 still in favor of the Braves. It's Xavier Warren, Cade Beloso, then Jack Lewinsky. Warren struck out swinging in his first at-bat that followed up a leadoff home run by Judd Fabian. That's the difference in this ball game so far. Just 3 total hits. Bourne has 2, Cotuit 1, but one of those 2 hits left the yard for Bourne. First pitch up and in. Looks like it just missed him as he was able to spin out of the way, but Warren brushed back. The third baseman from Central Michigan. One of the better hitters in this Bourne lineup, a mainstay at the top right after Judd Fabian and Cade Beloso. That fastball gets the corner. It's 0-2. 1-1 rather. Beloso on deck. He walked in the first inning. Way works exclusively out of the stretch. Kicks and deals the 1-1. Fouled away, and now it's 1-2. Warren, the switch hitter, bats from the left side. Way gets his sign, comes set right above the chest. Kicks and deals the 1-2. Line drive down the line. It's a fair ball into left field. Rounding first is Warren. He'll coast into second base and slide in just ahead of the throw for a leadoff double. So Warren picks up his first hit of the ball game. It's a double to lead off the third. And that brings up the three-hitter, Cade Beloso. Runner in scoring position now, nobody out. Beloso extended his on-base streak to all 13 games he's played this summer with the walk in the first. He was 2 for 3 with an RBI in yesterday's 14-0 win over Falmouth. A pickoff by Way over to second. Warren back easily. A blowout win for the Braves after losing to Cotuit at home at Doran Park. A win over the surging Commodores. That one gets past the catcher Pasek, and that'll be another base for Warren, who coasts into third. Score that a pass ball on the catcher Pasek. 1-0 to Beloso. Runner on third, nobody out, and the infield will be drawn in. Coach Roberts wants his infield cutting down the run. It's already 1-0 in favor of the Braves. Pasek will go talk to his pitcher, Beck Way. It's a game plan for the three-hitter Beloso from LSU. Beloso came into today's ballgame hitting .353. That's 12 for 34. 3 doubles, just 2 runs driven in, but 10 walks as opposed to 7 strikeouts. And Coach Mike Roberts is going to come out and go talk to his pitcher, Beck Way. He said before the ballgame that he planned for him to go roughly 2 to 4 innings, anywhere in between there. He's already got 2 innings under his belt. We'll see if Coach Roberts sticks with his starter.
Yeah, that was the plan, Aram, and right now, not a terrible outing. He's given up a couple of base runners in the previous 2 innings, and obviously the home run on the first pitch of the game against Fabian. But now with the leadoff double from Warren, you're in a little bit of trouble. Way hasn't quite had the zip on that fastball or the consistency. The slider got him out of a lot of tough at-bats in the first couple innings, but here's a tough situation, and if you heard the pregame spot with Coach, said we've only got 4 pitchers today unless somebody else puts their name on that board. So it's kind of tight quarters in the bullpen.
Ronaldo Cuckram out there with the full infield all drawn in on the mound to talk to Coach Roberts and Beck Way, where it looks like he's going to stick with Way. And just as I say that, he goes to Chris Holcomb, the southpaw, to face Beloso in the middle of this 1-0 count. So we'll have more on the new pitcher, Chris Holcomb, as he comes in and inherits a runner on third and a 1-0 count to the three-hitter Beloso. We'll be right back. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Hometown kid Chris Holcomb comes in with a 1-0 count, runner on third base. He's from Marston Mills, just 10 minutes away here from Cotuit. He's been great this year so far out of the bullpen. 1-0, 1.63 ERA, 11 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts. That curveball misses down and away, so it's 2-0 to the left-handed hitting Beloso. Holcomb worked his longest outing of the season against Falmouth. He went 3 2/3, gave up no runs, 4 hits, struck out 4. The 2-0. Bender taken for a strike. Just 69 on the gun from the Bender on Holcomb, but some sharp break to it. He continues to show feel for that as he has all year. The infield remains in against the power hitting Beloso, who has not had that many opportunities with runners in scoring position. This is just his third at-bat. A ground ball to Nick Gonzalez at second base. He fields it, checks on Warren at third, and he stays. Flips it over to first, and that's the first out of the inning. So the infield drawn in saves the run. But Holcomb's not out of the woods yet. Still needs to get another out. With just 1 away, runner on third can still score on a tag, and the infield will remain in for Jake Glewenke. Glewenke also struck out in the first inning. He struck out swinging. Glewenke from the right side this time, slightly open stance. Takes a first pitch fastball away, 1-0. Glewenke comes into today's game hitting .266. That's 17 for 64. Just 1 double, no home runs. The 1-0. Line drive up, back up the box for a base hit, and it's 2-0 in favor of Bourne on a line drive single to center field from Jake Glewenke.
He squared that one up pretty good. Lucky for Chris Holcomb to get down before it came blazing past him. Otherwise, it would have been right in the path of his face. But Bourne has seen the ball well pretty early on against a thinner Cotuit pitching staff, and they've got a 2-0 advantage on 4 hits.
And that'll bring up Cody Morissette. He grounded out to end the first inning. He bats from the left side against the southpaw Holcomb. Holcomb comes set at the belt, picks off over to first base, and Glewenke's back with 2 steps. Morissette was 2 for 3 in yesterday's 14-0 victory with 2 runs driven in. The left-handed hitter from Boston College awaits the first pitch from Holcomb. It's a curveball that bends out of the zone, 1-0. Good block by the catcher, Pasek. Casey Schmidt plays in on the grass at third base, anticipating a possible bunt. Middle of the infield plays double play depth. Casey Schmidt on the grass, Oviedo up the middle. And Nick Gonzalez playing a little bit to the pole, a little bit further to the left of your normal double play depth. 1-0. Ground ball into the hole. Nick Gonzalez ranges over, not able to make the grab as it coasts into right field for a seeing eye single. Back-to-back singles for the Braves here. Still only 1 away, and now 2 runners on base. So Glewenke on second, Morissette on first. Jake Poland now at the plate. He was hit by a pitch to lead off the second inning. He was responsible for 3 runs in yesterday's 14-0 victory. He drove in 3 on a double and a single. Poland the DH from the right side. Inside move to second base, Glewenke back easily.
Well, we talked about that move to second with Coach earlier, right? And we finally got a little sampling of why the Kettleers are doing that. And I love the reasoning that Coach gave. It's just to get these pitchers more comfortable throwing the ball to bases, whether it be from a defensive fielding perspective or holding runners on.
First pitch to Poland. That one's a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. We saw the Kettleers able to steal an out in a close ball game on an inside move by Casey Schmidt late in the game at Bourne. But we've seen some balls thrown away into center field as well. He said he wanted to see his pitchers get more comfortable at throwing the bases. He thinks that's an art that's slowly getting lost in today's game.
Well, right when he said that, Arm, the first thing I thought of was John Lester. That is the first thing I thought of, and I thought that is such a great area to try and dig back into, given some of the trend like a John Lester in this day and age of baseball.
It's funny you said that because I thought of the same exact thing. And, of course, Coach Roberts is a senior advisor for the Cubs.
Yes, there you go.
And I'm sure John Lester's throws over to first base or lack thereof must give him fits. The 0-2. Curveball pulled foul down the third base line. It's amazing how Lester really just is not comfortable throwing over to first. It's gotten a little better, but you remember in the playoffs in 2016, some base runners were dancing halfway off the bag, daring him to throw it, and he still wouldn't.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I've never understood how you could be so spooked to not make a basic throw. You're a professional baseball player, but I could kind of see where that comes from as a pitcher, but still.
Holcomb ahead 0-2. Spoiled away a safety swing there by Jared Poland. It's amazing, too, when you can throw it over a plate 60 feet 6 inches away that's just 16 inches wide, but you can't throw it 40 feet over to first base where you just have to hit your big target over there.
But I love the idea by Coach. He termed it as a positive step for them. They're having fun with it. That's what it's all about. It goes back to that backyard baseball theme that he likes to put onto his team.
Still 0-2 to Poland. Long look by Holcomb, and Poland will ask for time. Poland, an infielder, sophomore out of Louisville. He's DHing today. He hit .211 in 35 games. A two-way player for Louisville, also pitched some innings on the mound. The 0-2, a curveball lifted into the infield. Should be playable. We'll see who calls for it. It's McWhorter, and he makes the grab for the second out of the inning.
Good command by McWhorter. He felt confident in catching that ball and called off Nick Gonzalez, who was closer to it. This would be a really good job by Holcomb to keep it at just a 2-run deficit and strand the couple that are on base right now.
Another left-handed hitter now. It's Kyle Hess. Hess singled in the second inning. One of 5 hits already for the Braves with 2 away in the third inning. Golenke on second. He singled. Morissette followed that up with a single as well. That's how both those runners reach base. McWhorter not holding on. Morissette at first, playing right in front of the right field grass. First pitch curveball taken for a strike. 69 again on the slow bender. Oviedo shaded up the middle, holding on. Golenke at second base. Gonzalez with his heels on the right field grass. The 0-1 pitch. Swings through a fastball. It's quickly 0-2. And so the line is closed on Beck Way. He went 2+ innings, gave up 3 hits and 2 earned runs. He also struck out a trio. He struck out 3. So Holcomb ahead 0-2, trying to get out of this jam. Curveball, swing and a miss. He's able to get out of it. But not before Bourne adds one more. Charge that run to Beck Way. But Holcomb's able to end the inning. We'll go into the bottom of the third. Bourne up 2-0. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Sam Niederman. It'll be the 8-hitter Arajanu, then 9 Adam Oviedo in the top of the order for Cotuit after that. First pitch fastball misses high, 1-0. The switch hitter Anu bats from the right side. The 1-0 to Anu is lifted out into left field. Backing into the trees. That's a no-doubter from Araj. So Araj picks up the first run of the ball game. It leaves the yard, a solo shot, and it's now 2-1. The Kettleers are chipping away.
He was due to run into one at some point, right? Love the home run celebration for Araj, and he gets on the board with his 4th homer of the season. Just the spark that the Kettleers needed to wake up in this one against Bourne.
And that's got to feel good for Anu, who came into this game hitting just 154. He was 1 for his last 22, and he leaves the yard to put the Kettleers on the board. First pitch to Adam Oviedo misses up, 1-0. Ground ball through the infield for a base hit. Adam Oviedo follows up with a single. And 1 on for the top of the order now, and the Kettleers are in business. So now Nick Gonzalez, the leadoff hitter. He flew out to right field on the very first pitch at the bottom of the first. He comes into today with a 24-game on-base streak. All 24 games he's played this summer, he has reached base, trying to make it 25. Oviedo on first. Not much of a lead over there. The first pitch. Ground ball out to second base. This could be 2. The flip to shortstop on to first. And it just beats Nick Gonzalez for a double play. Score that 4-6-3. Nice turn up the middle by Morissette and Golenke.
Yeah, really good turn by the 2 middle infielders for Bourne. And unfortunate for Nick Gonzalez, who has come out and has only seen 2 pitches so far this afternoon. He's 0 for 2.
And that brings up Aubrey Major with 2 outs here. Major, the switch hitter, bats from the right side. Of course, Anu and Major, the 2 switch hitters in this Kettleer lineup. Bender backdoors him, strike 1. The 0-1. Line drive into right center. And that'll fall for a base hit in front of DiGiacomo. Big turn from Major, but he'll retreat back to first, and a 2-out single by Aubrey Major, who stays hot.
Yeah, he has stayed hot, Arm. Make it 5 games in a row for him with a hit since his return from injury. And now he's had a hit in 12 of his 13 appearances this summer. He has maximized his time as a switch hitter, and what a summer it's been for Major coming into the top portion of this order.
And speaking of staying hot, Casey Schmidt now strides to the plate. He was 3 for 4 in yesterday's win over Wareham. He had a home run, a pair of doubles, and 5 runs driven in. He flew out to right in his first at-bat. Now his second look at Rutkowski. Major, a pretty big lead over at first. The first pitch is lined into right center. That's another base hit. Major round second. Hole come into third. The throw is not in time. He slides in, and the Kettleers have runners on the corners here. 2 away for the cleanup hitter, Mason McWhorter.
Casey Schmidt's approach at the plate has just been so much more aggressive since he's gotten onto this tear, and Michael Roberts loves every single bit of it. It's really good to see him performing well in front of his family. His parents are in town to see this game. Caught up with him before the game, Aram. They were blown away by Lowell Park. I'm glad they finally got a home game after having to go to Bourne and Wareham for their first 2 in the Cape League. But he's just swinging a great bat and has been such a crucial piece for the Kettleers offense over the last couple of games.
Seems like the family was the best medicine for Casey Schmidt, who got hot the second they arrived here in Cotuit. And now Mason McWhorter with 2 away, a ground ball out to the shortstop Golenke. He'll field it and take it himself to second base, but not before the Kettleers cut the lead in half. A solo shot from Arajanu out to left field. A no-doubter, and it's 2-1. Still in favor of Bourne. We'll go into the 4th inning. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Holcomb out for the 4th inning after he put out the fire in the 3rd, was able to limit Bourne to just 1 run when he came in relief. That run, of course, was charged to Beckway. And now Holcomb will get the bottom 3rd of this Brave order. It's Kyle Hess, Jacob Campbell, then Giovanni DiGiacomo. First pitch is fouled straight back, strike 1. Holcomb out of the windup, kicks and deals. That one misses down and away, and it's actually Jacob Campbell, pardon me. So it's Jacob Campbell, Giovanni DiGiacomo, the 8-9 hitter, then back to the top of the order, Judd Fabian. The 1-1. Change up, just gets the outside corner. It's 1-2. Campbell from Illinois. Last time we saw the Braves, he did not get the start. Fouls away a slow bender. The count will remain 1-2. Jackson Greer, the other catcher, was the guy who handled the duties behind the dish at Doran Park. Of course, the game that the Kettleers won by a score of 8-6. The 1-2 misses down. It's 2-2. Campbell this past spring as a freshman at Illinois hit just 196. 6 extra base hits and drove in 11 runs. He's from Janesville, Wisconsin. The count's even 2-2. And that pitch misses down and in. He jumps out of the way of it and it's full. So full count to the 8-hitter and catcher Jacob Campbell. Giovanni DiGiacomo waits on deck. Campbell just 2 for 14 to start his summer. The payoff pitch is spoiled down the third base line. We'll do 3-2 again. Both hits singles. He's driven in 1 run. So we're still full to Jacob Campbell, the 8-hitter. Out of the windup, the 3-2 pitch. Soft liner into center field. Coming in as Chavers will make the grab for out number 1. So Holcomb sets down the leadoff batter for the 4th, and he'll get the 9-hitter Giovanni DiGiacomo. He grounded out to first, unassisted, in the 2nd inning. DiGiacomo bats from the left side against the southpaw Chris Holcomb. DiGiacomo from LSU, a teammate of Cade Beloso, the 3-hitter today. He squares to bunt at a curveball, stabs at it and right through it. It's 0-1. His freshman season at LSU, he hit .275 with 1 home run. Drove in 15 and swiped 6 bags in just 33 starts from Naples, Florida, and Canterbury High School. 0-1 doubles up on the curveball. This time he swung through it, and it's 0-2. DiGiacomo mans center field today for this Brave outfield. The 0-2. Fastball chopped out to second base. Gonzalez fields it at the chest, throws over to first, and 2 quick outs for Chris Holcomb.
It's a good job by Holcomb to calm the storm a little bit for the Kettleers. It was a bumpy ride for Beckway to begin this game, working 2+ and allowing the only 2 runs of this game. But Holcomb just has something about him, the kind of junk approach that he throws with a lot of off-speed pitches and just that's sweeping delivery, a change of pace for batters that is hard to pick up on.
First pitch of the leadoff hitter, Judd Fabian, is a ball outside. He, of course, led off this ball game with a solo shot. The first pitch of the ball game from Beckway left the yard to left field. And going off of what you said, Sam, Holcomb does a great job of mixing up the fastball, changeup, and curveball to leave these hitters off balance. He's kept a lot of them on their front foot, especially the lefties. He's done a great job of using that changeup against right-handed hitters like Fabian. The 2-0. Fastball misses below the knees. It's 3-0 to the leadoff hitter, Fabian. Fabian from the University of Florida, a sophomore, part of this young Bourne ball club. The 3-0. That one is a strike right down the middle, and it's 3-1. Fabian, the right-handed hitter, stands at 6'2", 200 pounds from Ocala, Florida, not too far from his teammate into Giacomo, and that's a line drive into center field, a base hit. And Fabian extends this 4th inning.
It's been a nice afternoon for Judd Fabian. Pounced on the first pitch of the game for the home run and even put a good piece on a fly ball to left field his second at-bat. That time he just takes it up the box into center and generates the 6th base hit of the game for Bourne.
And it's been a good last 10 games for Fabian, who came into today 11 for his last 33. Now he's 13 for his last 36. So Fabian on first to pick off over. He's back easily. And now it's a switch hitter, Xavier Warren. He hit his first 2 at-bats from the left side. Now against the southpaw, will get his first at-bat from the right side. Warren doubled in the 3rd inning. He knocked out Beck Way with that extra bag. So Warren from the right side wears the white arm sleeve. Elbow guard on the left arm. Waits for the first pitch from Holcomb. Fastball right down the middle, strike 1. 86 on the gun from Holcomb. Will not run it up into the 90s very often, but like we said, great 3-pitch mix. And able to make that fastball look deceptively harder. So Fabian on first. He has his hands on his knees. A bender that stays high. It's 1-1. Bourne, a team that doesn't run much as a ball club, just 6 stolen bases. Pick off over to first. Fabian's back easily. Fabian has yet to steal a base this season. He's tried once and was thrown out.
Of course, 4 of those 6 stolen bases coming from Jake McKenzie, who's not even in the lineup tonight.
1-1 misses away, 2-1. As we talked about it earlier, though, Sam, Coach Roberts doesn't care. He's still going to have his pitchers throw over, despite the fact that they only have 6 swipes, and only 1 of them is in the lineup today. Bridges also, who has one of the other 6 stolen bases, isn't in the lineup either. So it's 2-1 to Warren. Holcomb comes set, takes a look over at first, checks again, kicks and deals the 2-1. That one a strike at the knees, 2-2. So Holcomb 1 pitch away from getting out of this 4th inning. Would be his 2nd inning of work under his belt already. Fabian over at first base, awaits the 2-2 and will get time from Warren at home plate. Infield plays straight up besides Nick Gonzalez, who shades up the middle a little bit. Outfield playing straight away as well. The 2-2. Chopper out to Gonzalez up the middle. Will take it himself to second base. He had that played perfectly for the 3rd out of the inning. It's still 2-1 in favor of Bourne. Holcomb works his 2nd shutout inning. We'll go into the bottom of the 4th. The Kettleers are chasing 1. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Order for the Kettleers here in their 4th inning against Harry Rutkowski. It's Cody Pasek, Parker Chavers, and Robbie Martin. That's 5, 6, 7. Pasek, the catcher, grounded out in the 2nd inning, his first at-bat. Gets a second look at Rutkowski, another ground ball out to second base. Scoops it up and throws it over to first, and that's the first out of the inning. 1 pitch, 1 out for Rutkowski. And now Parker Chavers, he reached on an infield single in the 2nd inning. The left-hander also gets his second look at Rutkowski. The first pitch of Chavers, fastball outside corner, strike 1. Chavers struggled through his first 4 at-bats yesterday, but was able to leave the yard on a blast, a solo shot in the 8th. Finished the day 1 for 5. Chopper foul down the first base line, quickly 0-2.
He wanted that one. Arm knows that he had a great pitch to hit with a fastball over the middle of the plate. Just ended up pulling it foul.
The 0-2. Ground ball out to the shortstop, Gowenke. He scoops it up, throws it over to first base, and quickly 2 away.
Rutkowski is really getting into a groove on the mound. He ran into a little bit of trouble in the 3rd, giving up the home run to Araj, but other than that, he has been really solid this afternoon. Much better than his first time out against the Kettleers back on last Tuesday.
Robbie Martin, the last chance here in the 4th inning. He picked up his first hit as a Kettleer yesterday with a triple over at Spillane Field. Of course, a lot of room out there in the middle of Spillane Field. He crushed it out into right center and showed the wheels off. Picked up another hit in that ball game. 2 hits. He was finished 2 for 3. Came out after the single. Dante Williams subbed in for him as a defensive replacement and went into center field. Parker Chavers slid over to left. The 2-0. Big swing at a fastball at the shoulders. Blew it by him, and it's 2-1.
Martin has been waiting in the wings patiently, and last night he finally seized his opportunity in just his 2nd start. Great to see him smack the triple.
2-1, just dives away. It's 3-1.
And this is a guy that I know you really like, Arm, with his lefty swing. Looks the part, big frame at 6'3", 200. He's poised for a really good 2nd year at FSU.
3-1 is chopped out to second base. Morissette fields it. Throws over to first in a 1-2-3 inning for Rutkowski, who's cruising. Still 2-1 in favor of the visiting Braves. We'll go into the 5th inning. My partner Sam Niederman will take over. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
A little bit of stones for you here at the top of the 5th inning. Kettleers down 2-1 against the Bourne Braves. And a new pitcher on for Cotuit out of the bullpen. Evan Justice, a lefty out of NC State, comes on for his 4th appearance on the summer. Second time he's come out of the bullpen. His last outing at Falmouth was pretty ugly. 2 2/3 innings of work. He gave up 3 runs on 4 hits, walked 4, and only struck out 1. He enters this appearance with an 0-2 record and a 10 flat earned run average. Army's up against 3, 4, and 5 in the Bravos order. What can he improve on after last Wednesday's loss at Falmouth?
Well, I think you said it when he mentioned his stat line. The 4 walks were the big problem. He just could not get ahead of hitters, and he's not a guy that's going to blow it by you. So like Chris Holcomb, what we just saw, you got to get ahead of these hitters and set up that off-speed pitch.
2-1 Bourne, top of the 5th. Justice starts off with a breaking ball, and that's in there on the inside corner for a strike. Cade Beloso at the plate. 0 for 1, walked back in the 1st inning and then bounced out to second base in the 3rd against Chris Holcomb. Justice, a wayward slider that hooks in on the batter and just missed him for ball 1. Looked like it might have hit Beloso. Instead, it was shed to the backstop. Probably also got a piece of Pasek Smith and the home plate umpire, Ronaldo Cuckrum, who walks it off, and Pasek goes to the mound to give him a little bit of a courtesy.
Fortunately, it was just a curveball there, but anytime you get hit by a baseball, it doesn't feel too good. And he looks like he got it right off the arm, did Cuckrum, but it looks like he's all good.
The blue one back there in that box. 1 ball and 1 strike on Beloso, left-handed batting first baseman. Nobody on the 5th. 1-1. Fastball, fouled back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Justice, a lanky left-hander from NC State. Joins his teammate Reed Johnston, who's a right-hander in the Kettleer rotation. 1-2. Breaking ball in the dirt. Good block by Pasek. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bourne took the lead on the first pitch of the game. A home run by Judd Fabian to left center field. The Braves added another one with an RBI single from Jake Lewenke in the 3rd. Cotuit answered in the bottom of the 3rd. Arajanu's solo shot has cut it to 1. Little floater into right center field, and that's down for a base hit. Beloso singles into right center with a 2-2 count, and Bourd's got a base runner on again here in the top of the 5th.
Beloso's a big burly guy from the left side, but he's not really a big power hitter. He's just got great bat-to-ball skills. Talk about only the 2 RBI. He actually picked up his 3rd, but he's just able to put the bat on the ball, and he's a tough out. Really good contact hitter.
Man on first for Bourne. Nobody away in the top of the 5th. The cleanup batter, Jake Lewenke, back at the plate for the right side. Justice slings it over to first to check on the runner. McWhorter holds on. Lewenke 1 for 2. RBI single, that's the difference back in the 3rd. Open stands from the right side. First pitch from Justice. Flied into right field. Major ranges over into the gap with the shades on and makes the catch for out number 1. 1 down with Beloso still on first base. Here's Cody Morissette, the second baseman, in the number 5 spot. 1 for 2 with a single back in the 3rd as well. Morissette, a left-handed batter, Justice out of the stretch, and he throws over to McWhorter again at first. Beloso back in, standing up. (2-1) Bourne, top of the 5th inning. Breaking pitch in the dirt to start off Morissette. 1 ball and no strikes. (1-0) from Justice. Curveball in the dirt. Pasek kept it in front. 2-0 on Morissette. 2 runs on 7 hits and no errors for Bourne. 1 run on 5 hits and no errors for Cotuit. We're in the top of the 5th. Runner on with 1 out. Justice on the third base side of the rubber. He comes set, looks down at Beloso. Now to the plate. 2-0 fastball outside. 3 balls and no strikes. (3-0). Fastball on the outside corner called for a strike. It's 3-1 now on Morissette. You don't realize it, but it is an ACC matchup between these two at the plate and on the mound. Boston College opposite NC State. Sometimes forget that BC is in the ACC. They are. Here's a 3-1. Fastball low and out. 5-pitch walk to Morissette. He's on first. Beloso moves up to second base. And it's Jared Poland who comes up to the plate next.
It's easy to forget, but a sneaky good program that continues to get better. And the entire ACC has turned into a baseball powerhouse. Of course, no one's going to top the SEC. But the ACC has a very good representation out here in the Cape League this summer and always.
Two on with only 1 out in the top of the 5th. And it's Poland at the plate who takes a fastball at the ankles for ball 1. Poland, a hit batsman back in the 2nd inning. He was stranded on 3rd base. He popped up to 1st base his last time up in the 3rd. Bourne ahead on the Glewenke base hit. Kettleers cut it in half with a Arajanu solo home run in the 3rd. 1-0 from Justice. Breaking pitch in the dirt, 2-0. Kettleers in the whites tonight. Pinstripes trimmed in maroon. Bourne in the navy tops on gray pants trimmed in red. Slicer foul down the right field line. It's 2-1. Another great crowd at Lowell Park. Everybody fills up the 3rd base grandstand. Sparse crowd on the 1st base grandstand. Lots of chairs up the left field line. Another sunny night, starting to cool down a little bit with the sunset. 2-1 Bourne here in the top of 5. 2 on with 1 out. Justice the 2-1. He fires a fastball away, 3-1. He's struggling with the control. What can he do to try and get back on track here?
Well, looked like he was showing some good feel for the curveball. Surprisingly, the fastball has been the pitch that's been getting away from him. So just find what you're more comfortable throwing and just try and lock in. It's been a struggle the last couple outings for Justice.
Pop fly, right center field. Major calls for it, makes the play. That's out number 2. Both base runners stay put. So 2 down here in the top of 5. Justice gets Morissette to fly out into, or Poland rather, to fly out into right field. Kyle Hess next up. Hess bats from the left side, 2 on with 2 out. And Justice gets the outside corner with a fastball for a strike. No balls and 1 strike.
It's a good sign there for Justice to pump in an 89-mile-an-hour fastball right on the outside corner. Hopefully that means he's starting to settle in and find a repetitive arm motion.
Breaking ball, wave and a miss, 0-2. Good change of speeds there. He started him off with 90 miles an hour away, then went down to a 79-mile-an-hour curveball. Beloso singled to lead off the inning with a 2-2 count. Glewenke flew out to right. Morissette walked, and Poland flew out to right. Breaking ball, swing and a miss in the dirt. Hess goes down swinging on a drop third strike throw from Pasek on target, and Evan Justice is able to get out of the inning unscathed. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and a couple of men left on base. And it is 2-1 Bourne as we go on to the bottom of the 5th. Cotuit back at the plate when we return. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Kettleers down 2-1 against Bourne. Here's Arajanu against the lefty Harrison Rutkowski, who deals him a fastball low and in. 1 ball and no strikes. Sam Niederman, Arm Layton, glad that you're along with us on a Tuesday afternoon from Lowell Park. Arajanu, a solo home run his last time up against Rutkowski, and this time he golfs a liner to shortstop, and it's picked out of the air by Glowenke. A line out to start things off here in the bottom of the 5th. 2 good hard hits for Anu. He smashed that first home run, which cut this game into half. It's now a 2-1 game in the bottom of the 5th favoring Bourne. This time Anu a line out to shortstop. Leadoff man retire with nobody on, and here's Adam Oviedo. Ovi's 1 for 1, singled last time up in the 3rd, and he sends one on the ground to Beloso at first, who hustles over to the bag. 3 unassisted for out number 2. Harrison Rutkowski starting to get into a rhythm on the mound for Bourne. That's been the signature for the Braves so far this season. The Bravos carry a 3.89 team earned run average. That's 5th in the Cape League. It's kind of been a 4-headed monster for Harvey Shapiro's side. Spearheaded by Rutkowski along with Ryan Cusick and Nick Domkowski and last night's starter Mac Lardner, who worked 7 scoreless innings, striking out 8 in the big win over Falmouth. Nick Gonzalez looks at a ball downstairs. 1 ball and no strikes to the Kettleer leadoff man. 0 for 2 so far this afternoon with a fly out to right and grounded into a double play his last time up in the 3rd. 2-1 Bourne, bases empty in the bottom of the 5th with 2 away. A high curveball from Rutkowski misses. 2 balls and no strikes. It's not too often that we see Nick Gonzalez with his on-base streak lingering into the 3rd at-bat. He's taken care of business in the opening at-bat the last couple of nights. See if he can extend it. 2-0 fastball, punched in the air, foul up the right field line.
And he's wasted a little time in his at-bats. He's only seen 2 pitches coming into this one. Maybe working into a deeper at-bat here. He might be able to punch something the other way off of the hard-throwing Rutkowski.
Gonzalez has reached in all 24 games to open up the summer. Rutkowski with a 2-1. Fastball fended back foul, even count 2-2.
Good spot by for that fastball by Rutkowski. Up and out, just about a ball off the plate. It's enticing for Gonzalez, and a really tough pitch to hit as a right-handed hitter. Pitch that can't really burn you if you're Rutkowski.
Gonzalez also working on a 7-game hit streak. A hit right here would give him his longest hitting streak of the year. 2-2. Fastball slashed into right. Hess on the run, and he's able to bag it for out number 3. A good piece from Gonzalez, but good defense from Bourne out in right field. No runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left on for Cotuit. We have played 5, and it's 2-1 Bourne. We'll be right back with the 6th. Arm's got the play-by-play when we return. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Nine 1 for Evan Justice here in the 6th inning. The Kettleers are still chasing one. It's 2-1 in favor of the Braves. Jacob Campbell strides to the plate, ready for the first pitch from Justice. A line drive out into center field. Shaver should have this one. He ranges back, but it's over his head, and that'll be extra bases going into second base. And a big turnaround, but he'll retreat back to the bag. And a ball that just kept carrying over the head of Parker Chavers.
He was always a step behind it, Chavers, and he sprinted back to try and make it over the shoulder play, but it was just too well hit by the batter and Campbell. That's only his 3rd hit of the summer, and he'll take it. Another extra base hit for Bourne, and the Braves have come to play. Their offense scored 14 runs last night, and they might only have 2 so far tonight, but 7 hits in total. They're still seeing the ball pretty well.
And it's a pinch hitter for Giovanni DiGiacomo. His day is over. He finishes 0 for 2. The new batter is Nick Bruiser.
Such a good name. Bruiser.
It's a good baseball name. Would be a good fighter's name, too.
Yeah.
Bruiser got the start against the Kettleers when they played at Doran Park. He went 0 for 2 in his 2 at-bats before being pinch hit for. Pickoff over to second base, and he's back easily. That was just Jacob Campbell's 3rd hit of the summer. A double that kept carrying over the head of Parker Chavers. Now runner in scoring position, nobody out, and it's the pinch hitter Nick Bruiser. First pitch to Bruiser, curveball in the dirt, blocked by Pace, it kept in front. And Campbell will stay at second base. Bruiser from Stanford, a teammate of Kettleer Christian Robinson. Built to play for the Cardinals in the spring. Bruiser bats from the right side, awaits the 1-0 pitch from the southpaw Evan Justice. Line drive foul down the right field line. It's evened up at 1-1. Justice working that high 80s fastball. Yet to touch 90 in his inning plus of work. So it's a pinch hitter Bruiser, then the top of the order Judd Fabian and Xavier Warren. The 1-1. Fastball outside corner 1-2. Bruiser didn't like it. A good job framing that pitch by Pasek. Justice ahead 1-2 to the pinch hitter Bruiser. He comes set right above the belt. Checks on Campbell at second base. The 1-2 pitch. Curveball. Bruiser's just able to nick it and stay alive. Still 1-2. Fabian on deck. He's 2 for 3. He's been the most dangerous hitter in this Bourne order today. Just 2-1 in favor of Bourne. They're threatening to add more. Runner on second base. Nobody out. The 1-2. Misses away. 2-2. Was a curveball from Justice that he just could not get on top of, and it stayed off the plate outside to the right-handed hitting Bruiser. Campbell not much of a lead on second base. He's held on by the second baseman Nick Gonzalez, who's shaded up the middle. Big hole on the right side, the 2-2. He jumps out of the way of a fastball that crowded him inside, and it's full. 90 on the gun there from Justice. So the hardest pitch Justice throws of the day misses inside and makes it full. First base is open, but nobody out. In the top of the order on deck. This is the guy Justice wants. The payoff pitch. Curveball lifted out into center field. We'll see if Chavers has a chance at this one. He ranges back and makes a grab over the shoulder, but tagging is Campbell, and he'll coast into third base.
That time, a better play by Chavers, straight back in center field, but a better hit by Bruiser as the pinch hitter to move the runner up with a deep fly ball.
So now a runner on third, just one away, and Judd Fabian at the plate. Cody Pasek out to talk to his pitcher, Evan Justice. Fabian 2 for 3. Of course, he led off this ball game with a solo shot, and then he singled in the fourth. Judd 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position this season. Bourne as a ball club's been pretty good, 281. They've driven in 60 runs and 178 at-bats with runners in scoring position. Campbell on third base, one away, the infield in for Mike Roberts' defense. Big hole still on the right side as Nick Gonzalez plays up the middle. First pitch, fastball misses away, 1-0. You figure with the not as high velo from Justice, it's probably why you see Nick Gonzalez shaded up the middle, right, Sam?
Yeah, you just never know if you get a little squibber right up the box.
1-0 curveball just bites too far down and in. I've seen a lot of guys go into center field off of Justice so far in his 2 innings of work. He's topped out at 90 so far today, works in the high 80s, and likes to go to that curveball. Rarely will you see guys go the other way, but you never know in baseball. But Coach Roberts will play with the percentages. That bender is a strike, and it's 2-1. It's 2-1 to the leadoff hitter, the sophomore from the University of Florida. The 2-1 pitch. Changeup, got him swinging through it, and it's 2-2.
It's a big pitch here for Justice. You'd love to get a strikeout, take the pressure off your infield playing in, and then reset for 2 outs and play it up normal.
So 2-2 to Judd Fabian. Fabian wants contact. Justice wants the strikeout. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him on another changeup. He'll run over to first base. Pasek makes the throw, and Campbell sticks at third. A big second out as Justice wins the battle there. And just one more to go. It's Xavier Warren, the switch hitter, bats from the right side again. His second look at Justice from the right side.
Good job by Justice to work low. Fabian was fooled on the off-speed pitch, and a huge out number 2 for the Kettleers. That's a big run out there at third base and just a 1-run deficit right now.
Warren doubled in the third inning. That chased Beck way out of the ball game. He's 1 for 3. Takes a first pitch fastball below the knees, 1-0. On deck, Cade Beloso. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. Nick Gonzalez still hanging out up the middle over there. About 60 feet of open space on the right side. Fastball misses up and out. It's 2-0. Campbell's still on third base. He reached on a double. Advanced to third on the sac fly from the pinch hitter Nick Bruiser. Justice was able to bounce back and strike out the leadoff hitter Fabian. And now he's behind 2-0 on the 2-hitter Warren. The pitch. That one's a strike, 2-1. Justice going to the changeup again to the right-handed hitter. Still behind 2-1. We'll see what he goes to. Campbell stands off at third base just a few feet off the bag. He takes a few more steps towards home. And the 2-1 pitch, a bender. He looks at it for strike 2, 2-2. Justice evens up the count on a pair of off-speed pitches. He got Fabian on the changeup on a 2-2 count. We'll see what he goes to on Warren with another 2-2 count. The pitch. A chopper off of right in front of home plate. Justice fields it, throws over to first base, and he's able to strand the runner at third. A good job by Justice to escape the double. And we'll go into the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 2-1 still in favor of Bourne. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. New arm for the Braves. It's a right-hander, Blake Burzell. That means Harry Rudkowski's day is done. He went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 earned run. It was on the Arajanu solo shot. He walked nobody and struck out nobody. So Burzell, the right-hander, 6'6" on the mound, a sophomore from Arizona State in Laguna Beach, California. He's making his 6th appearance. He's pitched 6 1/3 innings. He's struck out 4 and given up 8 hits. A 2.84 ERA, and he's 0-1. First pitch to Aubrey Major, the switch hitter batting from the left side for the first time in this ball game. After the left-handed pitching, Rudkowski ended his day. Burzell most recently pitched against last-place Hyannis. He went an inning in the 3rd, gave up 3 hits, struck out 1, and did not surrender a run. The 0-1 is flared into left field for a base hit off the bat of Major, his 2nd of the ball game. He makes a big turnaround first and retreats back to the bag. And Major just continues to mash. And following up Major is probably the only hitter hotter than Aubrey. It's Casey Schmidt. He singled in the 3rd and, of course, had the phenomenal ball game yesterday where he left the yard and hit a pair of doubles, driving in 5. Major on first, Casey Schmidt at the plate, nobody out. First pitch fastball dots the corner, strike 1. Schmidt, the right-handed hitter from San Diego State. 2 West Coast players going at it right here between Burzell and Schmidt. Major on first. He bluffs a steal and retreats back to the bag. The fastball misses high. Schmidt's hitting .324 in his last 10 ball games. It's 11 for 34. He's driven 2 home runs and 9 RBIs. That fastball misses away. 94 on the gun by Burzell. His last 5 ball games have been even more impressive. 8 for 18, 6 RBI. That's a 444 clip for Casey Schmidt. The 2-1. Fastball misses away. 3-1. Schmidt way ahead. Major on first base. He singled his 2nd of the ball game. Schmidt ahead 3-1 at the plate. On deck is the cleanup hitter, Mason McCorder. 3-1. That's crushed out into left field. Back is Fabian at the wall, and he makes the grab. Aubrey Major's going to have to retreat. He was already rounding 2nd. He sprints back to the bag, and he is not back in time. A double play by Bourne. What a job by Judd Fabian to make the grab, and a great relay by the shortstop Gowenke. And they're able to double up Aubrey Major and Casey Schmidt. So it was another ball crushed by Casey Schmidt to straightaway left field. Fabian was able to make the over-the-shoulder grab, and Aubrey Major, a little too ambitious, tried to round 2nd base. Once Fabian made the grab, he tried to retreat and was just late as the throw beat him, and a ground ball out to the 2nd baseman, Morissette. He flips it over to first, and just like that, the tides turn. What looked like a promising inning for the Kettleers turns into a 1-2-3 inning. We'll go into the top of the 7th. It's still 2-1 in favor of Bourne here at Lowell Park. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Kettleers after one of the more wild 1-2-3 innings you'll ever see for the home half of the sixth. It's still 2-1 in favor of Bourne in the middle of this Brave order. Curveball misses down and away, 1-0. It's Cade Beloso, who already extended his on-base streak to 13 ball games, all 13 he's played so far this summer. A 1-0. Fouled straight back, and it's 1-1. Little wild bottom of the sixth there, Sam. It looked like a promising inning. Major leads it off with a single. Casey Schmidt blasts one that we thought might have a chance to get out of the yard as the 1-1 pitch misses away to Beloso. Major was trying to score and tie the ball game up, and Fabian made a spectacular catch over his shoulder and left. And at that point, Major was already rounding second base. He had to retreat, and the throw beat him back to first base.
Yeah, I thought that Major was going to find a way back, and I thought Schmidt had that one out too.
Line drive out to Major. This time he catches it, and Beloso is retired.
Casey Schmidt barreled it up. I thought it was gone for sure, but just a great play out there by Fabian and opportunistic defense by Bourne to get a crucial double play that we'll probably look back at as a big turning point in this one.
So one away for Jake Golenke, today's cleanup hitter. The shortstop was responsible for the relay to beat Major back to first base. First pitch changeup misses inside. It's 1-0. Golenke 1 for 3 today. He RBI singled in the third, struck out in the first, and flew out in the fifth. 1-0, big hack. He fouls it away. Golenke 9 for his last 32. That's 281. The 1-1 pitch fouled away. It's 1-2. This is a Bourne lineup that does not have a lot of power. That's why you'll see Golenke in the cleanup spot. Their leading home run hitter is Xavier Warren with just a pair. As that changeup bites away, it's 2-2. Just 7 home runs as a ball club, as opposed to the Kettleers' 23. The 2-2. Ground ball out to Nick Gonzalez at shortstop, or second base. He makes a nice sliding stop, gets up and throws it over to first base on a nice nifty play by the second baseman, Nick Gonzalez.
Good angle from Nick Gonzalez to get to that last ground ball arm. He rounded it, gave himself some depth, and slid on the grass for a fine out number 2.
And that would have been relatively routine if he was playing straight away, but we've seen him shaded up the middle, as we know Coach Roberts likes to put the shifts on. This time he goes back to straightaway second base, maybe a few steps further back with his heels on the right field grass. First pitch of the left-handed hitting Morissette misses away. It's 1-0. Morissette 1 for 2. He singled in the third, walked in the fifth. He's ahead 1-0 to Justice. Big swing through a fastball, blew it by him. It's 1-1. Battle between ACC counterparts here. Evan Justice from NC State, Morissette from Boston College. The 1-1 curveball bends into the strike zone, 1-2. Justice showing a much better outing today after he struggled mightily at Falmouth, where he walked 4 in relief. He misses away with that curveball. It's 2-2.
He's been a lot better today in this outing, Arm, and his team really needs him to try and bridge the gap to the 8th and the 9th innings, keeping this at a 2-1 deficit for Cotuit.
2-1 in favor of Bourne as that ball's flared out into left field. Martin should have a shot at this one. He comes in, makes the grab for out number 3, so Justice cruises through another inning. Kettleers still chasing 1 as we go into the bottom of the 7th, just 9 outs to go. Kettleers need to do it. They're running out of time. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Kettleers still chasing one. It's the middle of the order. Cody Pasek, Parker Chavers, Robbie Martin. Second inning of work for Blake Burzell. He worked a crazy first inning for himself out of the bullpen. Bottom at the sixth ended up being a 1-2-3 inning, but a crazy double play on a nice grab by Judd Fabian in left, doubling up Aubrey Major, who was on first. Cody Pasek 0 for 2 on the day, a pair of ground outs to second base. One 1-0 to the Kettleers catcher, who bats from the left side against a 6'6" righty Blake Burzell. That pitch is flared down the left field line and carving just foul. So it's 1-1.
Kettleers have a chance here against Burzell out of the bullpen. Rakowski only faced 4 over the minimum in another strong 5-inning start.
1-1 to Pasek, looking for his first hit of the ball game. The pitch misses away and gets past the catcher in Campbell. It's 2-1. Pasek getting the nod today. Sam Ferry started yesterday's ball game at Wareham. The 2-1 misses high, 3-1. Pasek is 4th on the team in walks and a limited amount of at-bats, just 36. He has 8 walks as opposed to just 7 strikeouts. And make that 9 walks. He takes ball 4 outside. And the Kettleers have their leadoff runner aboard, and now it's Parker Chavers. The Kettleers were able to square up a pair of baseballs off of Burzell in the 6th inning. And now we'll have a pinch runner for Cody Pasek. It's the speedy outfielder Cam Hill from Kentucky. And Coach Roberts knows that runs are hard to come by in this one. This might be the best opportunity for the Kettleers to score and hold speed up on first base already here in the 7th inning. So we'll see who does the catching duty next. It'll probably be Sam Ferry. Colton Kessler still coming back from that knee bruise. And on deck will be another pinch hitter. It's Joey Loper-Fido who will hit for Robbie Martin. But right now it's Parker Chavers at the plate. Takes a first pitch fastball inside. It's 1-0. Chavers 1 for 2. He reached on an infield single in the second. He was 1 for 5 yesterday, but he did have a blast out to right center. And a big win over Wareham, 11-5. 1-0. Broken bat flare right back at the pitcher and a double play over to first base as Hill was taking a few steps over towards second. And just like that, another double play kills what was a promising inning for the Kettleers and a waste of that pinch runner in Cam Hill.
Well, Blake Burzell, I guess, has put the double play spell on the Kettleers on balls in the air. First, the big fly out to left field that robbed Casey Schmidt back in the 6th, and then now in the 7th, a shot right back to the pitcher from the bat of Chavers, and Burzell was able to catch it, and Cam Hill had nowhere to go at first base.
2 away, and the pinch hitter is Joey Loper-Fido from Duke University. He bats from the left side and waits the first pitch. He takes a big swing through a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. It's strike 1. Loper-Fido has been swinging a hot bat for the Kettleers. In his last 10 ball games, he's 8 for 19. That's .421 with a home run. The 0-1, a number in front of the home plate. It's bobbled by the pitcher Burzell, and Loper-Fido will reach base. He was busting it down the line. It looked like Burzell was ready to throw it before he even scooped it up into his glove.
That always looked awkward for Burzell, who's a big dude coming off the hill at 6'5", and he just wasn't able to hinge down and grab that cleanly. And Loper-Fido's speed was also probably in the back of his head, so scored as an error, and that's the base runner the Kettleers needed to get back on track after the double play.
So an E1. And the Kettleers are still alive here in the 7th. It's Araj Anu, this time from the left side. He homered from the right side. That's the lone run of the ball game for the Kettleers. First pitch He fouls it off his foot. It's 0-1. Two to 1 in favor of Bourne. Bourne has 2 runs on 8 hits. The Kettleers just 1 run on 6 hits. Anu bats from the left side. The 0-1 takes it down and in. Loperfido, a delayed steal. He slides into second base and he beats the throw. A nice job by Joey Loperfido to get into scoring position.
That's backyard baseball right there. Delayed steal. Dusted up second base, coming in hot. Good job by Loperfido to hustle into scoring position.
3rd stolen base of the season for Joey Loperfido, showing off the wheels. Now it's 1-1 to Araj Anu. Anu, of course, an aggressive hitter out there. He's yet to walk this season in his 65 at-bats. Takes a big swing through a 1-1 fastball, fouls it back. It's 1-2. That's 20 strikeouts as opposed to 0 walks. 1 hit by pitch. But he has left the yard 4 times. That's tied for a Kettleer lead. Parker Chavers and Casey Schmidt also have 4 dingers this season, a 3-way tie. Anu behind 1-2 to the relief pitcher Blake Brazell. He comes set, kicks and deals. Misses high with a fastball. It's 2-2. On deck is the 9-hitter Adam Oviedo. First base is open. A single could score Loperfido with speed on second base. Nobody holding on Loperfido out there on second. The 2-2 to Anu. He crushes one out into center field. DeGiacomo goes back after taking a few hard steps in, and he's able to make the grab. So a good piece by Anu, but nothing to show for it. The Kettleers still trail 2-1 here at Lowell Park. Just 6 outs to spare as we go into the 8th inning. My partner Sam Niederman will take you home. You're listening to Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
They're still on the short end of a 2-1 game against the Bourne Braves. And Cotuit's back in the field for this inning. Evan Justice, the lefty, on the mound, ready for his 3rd inning of work. He's up against the middle to bottom part of the order in Bourne's lineup: Jared Poland, Kyle Hess, and then Jacob Campbell. A couple of defensive substitutions for Mike Roberts' Kettleer side. Cam Hill, the new left fielder, and Joey Loperfido came on as a pinch hitter. It gives way, and Sam Ferry is the new catcher. So Cody Pasek out of this game, Ferry the catcher, Hill in left field for Robbie Martin, and Justice starts things off with a fastball inside, ball 1 on the batter in Poland. 1 ball and no strikes. Poland the DH from the right side. 1-0 spiked in the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes. Poland 0 for 2 was a hit batsman in the 2nd, popped up to first base in the 3rd, and flew out to right in the 5th. Mike Roberts comes out of the dugout. He senses the danger early on. Justice behind the count, 2-0, and Coach immediately signals to the bullpen. It's time for a new pitcher for the Kettleers, and we'll get you that arm on the other side of this break. Be right back in just a moment. It's Bourne 2 and the Kettleers 1. 8th inning of play on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Kettleers in the top of the 8th. Cole Ramage comes into the ball game out of Arkansas, the right-hander, just making his 3rd appearance on the summer. No record with a 1.80 earned run average. His last appearance came on Friday against Hyannis. He pitched 2 innings, didn't allow a run on 3 hits, struck out 3 and walked 1. He inherits a 2-ball and no strike count on the batter in Jared Poland. That's it for Evan Justice, who's out of the game. And we'll see how Ramage does out of the pen. 2-1 Bourne in the top of the 8th. Nobody on and nobody out. The Kettleers have trailed from the get-go. Judd Fabian a solo home run on the first pitch of the game. Jake Lowenke added an RBI hit for Bourne in the 3rd. Ramage winds up. Here's a 2-0. Fastball on the outside corner called for a strike. The Kettleers got 1 back in the bottom of the 3rd. That was Arajanu with a solo home run. 2-1. Fastball, wave and a miss. Got him swinging at 90 miles an hour. Even count on the batter in Poland, 2-2.
We've seen Coach Roberts almost more frequently than not.
2-2 breaking ball slashed into the gap. Left center field. It's down and going towards the wall. Poland rounds first. He loses his arm guard and trots into second with a leadoff double for Bourne in the visiting half of the 8th.
I was going to say, we see him more often than not pull pitchers in the middle of at-bats, and it's something kind of unconventional. You don't see a lot of coaches do that, but he's got confidence in his bullpen arms to come in and be effective with 2-0 counts.
Ramage evened up the count. That time he left a breaking pitch over the plate, and Poland took care of it for a double into the left center alley. Runner in scoring position for Bourne. It's the 9th hit of the day for the Braves. Now it's Kyle Hess, the number 7 batter right fielder. 1 for 3 with a strikeout his last time up. Corners of the infield on the edge of the grass. Ramage out of the stretch. Oviedo creeps behind the runner at second. Time called at home plate by our good friend Ronaldo Cuckrum. 2-1 Bourne in the top of the 8th. Runner on second with nobody out. Hess a left-handed bat at the plate. Ramage set at the belt. First pitch. Fastball dives down low. 1 ball and no strikes. Ramage works with Sam Ferry, the defensive sub out of Arizona State, behind home plate. Remember, Cam Hill is the new left fielder. Corners on the edge of the grass on the infield for the Kettleers. Oviedo still behind the runner in Poland at second. He backs off. Ramage ready. Leg lifted, a spin back to keep the runner staying by the bag. The sun is starting to go down at Lowell Park. Blue sky fades into white in the distance. Left field trees in the shadows. Right field trees still in the sun. Here's a 1-0. Breaking ball framed on the top part of the zone for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hess just 7 for 35 this season. 1-1. Fastball grounded up the middle at second. Backhand pick by Gonzalez. He recovers and throws wide of the bag at first. McWhorter took a tumble. Runner safe at third, and he comes on home to score. Jared Poland makes it 3-1 Bourne here at the top of the 8th inning, and we'll sort this out and see how they all score it.
I don't think I've ever seen that where a player actually knocks the ball out of his hand by running into him and a run's able to score. Of course, it was unintentional, so they won't call interference as the base runner ran into McWhorter and the ball got away from him.
Well, Nick Gonzalez made the play on the edge of the grass and right center field. Got up, threw it to McWhorter. I thought the throw was wide in the first place, but then the ball was jarred loose from McWhorter's glove by the runner in Hess, and that's what allowed the runner from third to score in Poland. So scored as an infield hit and then a throwing error on Gonzalez. Man on first with nobody out still in the 8th, and it's now 3-1 Bourne. Here's Jacob Campbell, 1 for 3 with a double his last time up back in the 6th. He takes a breaking ball. Strike 2. One run home for Bourne here in the top of the 8th. Kettleers down 3-1. Runner on first in Hess, held on by McWhorter, and a throw over from Ramage. Activity in the Cotuit pen. A lefty's getting loose. Another throw over to first. Hess dives back in safely. 3 runs on 10 hits and 1 error for Bourne on the road. 1 run on 6 hits and 1 error for Cotuit at home. 0-1. Fastball up at the belt. 1 ball and 1 strike. These two rivals have met twice this season. The Kettleers took round 1 at Lowell Park, a 6-1 win last Tuesday. Cotuit got the best of Bourne on Sunday as well, winning 8-6 on the road. Bravos trying to make it their first win over their rivals this season. Swing and a miss by Campbell. It's 1-2. Harrison Rutkowski set the tone for Bourne on the road early. A strong start, going 5 innings. He only allowed the home run to Anu, 5 hits in total. Didn't walk anybody, nor did he strike out anyone. Double play depth on the infield. 1 man on, nobody out, and a breaking pitch misses low and in at the shins. 2-2 on Campbell.
And if the Kettleers aren't able to come back in this one, they'll lose control of first place in the West Division. The Gatemen are up 7-0 at Red Wilson Field over YD.
A big lead for Wareham late, bottom of the 7th.
And Falmouth up over Hyannis 3-0 as well.
Fastball taken in the air to center. Shavers backtracks. He's got it for out number 1. Jacob Campbell retired on a fly out to center. Hess stays aboard at first base, 1 down, and here comes the number 9 spot. It's Nick Bruiser at the plate. 3-1 Bourne, top of the 8th inning with 1 out and a man on. Poland doubled to left center to begin this inning. Hess reached on an infield single, and then a throwing error from Gonzalez at second allowed Poland to come around home from second. That's increased the Bourne edge to 2. Another throw over to check on Hess, who's able to slide back in safely. Cole Ramage on for just his 3rd appearance this summer. Righty out of Arkansas, a native of Southlake, Texas. Came to the Kettleers a little late after the Omahogs, as they like to call them, made it to the College World Series for the 10th time in their program history. Fastball in for a strike, 0-1 on Bruiser. Bruiser out of Stanford. 0 for 1 today as a pinch hitter back in the 6th. He popped up to center field. Double play depth up the middle for the Kettleers. Here's the 0-1. Fastball, hit away foul on the right side. Ramage up in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. The sun's dying behind the trees on the third base side. Most of the left side of the diamond is in the shadows. Right field still in the sun. Major out there playing straight up with the shades on. 0-2 out of the stretch. Fastball a little high and tight. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Bruiser. Bruiser, a right-handed bat in the 9th spot. Judd Fabian, the leadoff man, on deck. Ramage on the first base side of the rubber. He comes set at the belt. 1 on with 1 out, and another pick to first. Little close play. Good effort on the tag by McWhorter, but Hess able to get a hand back in before it.
Man, wouldn't it be nice for Ramage to return the favor here with a ground ball and roll a double play? We've seen Bourne get out at 2 jams now with lucky double plays. Let's see if Ramage can get a traditional 4-6-3 or 6-4-3 with a ground ball up the middle.
Time called for a brief moment there. Nick Gonzalez has something in his eye. Third base umpire Kevin Gould let him reset. Now he's ready to go up the middle. 1-2, runner on the move. Breaking ball set on the right side. What a piece of hitting by Bruiser. That's a single into right. Hit and run was on with a 1-2 count, and Bruiser poked it to a wide open right side of the infield. And Bourne's got first and third with only 1 away in the top of the 8th. Kettleers down 3-1.
Man, that was beautiful. Like you said, Sam, what a piece of hitting. With 2 strikes, runner on the move, he's able to poke it the other way. A big hole on the right side with Gonzalez and Oviedo going to cover, and just a perfect swing there to get runners on the corners. And now you got a guy on third base, and a fly ball scores another run, a big insurance run it would be here.
Bruiser does his job, and now runners on the corners for Bourne. Only 1 down in the top of the 8th, and Cole Ramage tries to sort things out against the top of the lineup for the Bravos. Judd Fabian back at the plate. 1 for 3 with the solo home run on the first pitch of the game. He struck out swinging back in the 6th against Evan Justice. Cotuit brings the infield in for the right-handed batter. Sam Ferry comes out from behind home plate to signal to the infield for the defensive instructions. Mike Roberts with 1 knee forward on the ledge of his dugout on the third base side. McWhorter holds on the runner and Bruiser at first. Gap on the right side of the infield. Everybody else plays in on the edge of the grass. Fabian steps out. And hang on a pause here. Mike Roberts talking with Ronaldo Cuckrum, the home plate umpire. Not sure what the issue is here.
I think he was asking how many mound visits he has left, because that's a new thing we've seen enforced in the Cape Cod League. And he wanted his infield to go talk, but before he did that, he wanted to make sure he didn't use his last one. Of course, it's still only the 8th inning.
Instead, Roberts went to Casey Schmidt, his third baseman, to go onto the mound and clear things up with Ferry and Ramage.
It looks like they have 1 remaining.
1 in their back pocket. Coach trusts his hitting third baseman and Schmidt to be a leader out on the diamond. Everybody's ready to rock and roll. First and third for Bourne in the 8th. 1 down. 3-1 Bourne over Cotuit. Infield plays in. Breaking ball to Fabian. He swings about 2 seconds late for strike 1.
Tried to wait back on that one. He read it out of the hand, but just too much bite, and I think he anticipated that to be a little bit less firm from Ramage. Just under 80 there with the curveball. It's a pretty hard curveball there from Cole.
Ramage ready from the stretch. 0-1 breaking ball. Pounded into left. Fabian, get on out of here. Bourne has done it again. It's Judd Fabian who strikes for his 2nd homer of this contest. And that gives the Braves a 6-1 advantage here in the top of the 8th inning.
Ramage went back to that curveball, and Judd Fabian is too good to make the same mistake twice. He put it in the same spot. It hung up there too long, and this time he was all over that hanger and crushed it out of here. And a mistake pitch there by Ramage.
Judd Fabian puts Bourne in the getaway car, and the Braves might be stealing one here on the road here at Lowell Park. A 3-run shot. It's his 2nd dinger of the day. He began the ball game with the solo home run. He might have just closed the book with a 3-run bomb to clear the bases in the top of the 8th. Kettleers down 6-1, and here's Xavier Warren. Ball 1 outside from Ramage. 1 ball and no strikes on the switch hitter third baseman. Warren bats from the left side here. Base is empty with 1 down. 1-0 breaking ball over the heart of the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Warren's 1 for 4 with a double and a run scored back in the third. 1-1. Fastball just tagged on the inside corner. 1-2. That was an SEC matchup at the plate. Arkansas on the mound and Florida at the plate. And Fabian, who has seen Ramage probably a couple of times throughout the spring, got the best of him on that hanging breaker. The 1-2. Little number right in front of the mound. Speared out of the ground by Ramage. 2 away. Warren goes down 1 for 3. 2 away with the bases empty in the top of the 8th. And here's Cade Beloso, the first baseman out of LSU. 1 for 3 today with a single back in the 5th. Flew out to right field back in the 7th. Bourne 6 runs on 12 hits, 1 error. 4 of them driven in by 2 home runs by Judd Fabian. And the big 3-run blast putting a gap in the lead in this frame. Beloso's up in the count 1-0. The Kettleers have had their opportunities at the plate late, but just have not been able to cash in. Blake Burzell came in to relieve Harry Rudkowski in the 6th inning. And with a runner on and nobody out, Casey Schmidt blasted one into left field, but it was robbed by the outfielder out there in Fabian. Can't forget his defensive impact he's made on this game. He made the catch right at the fence, fired it into the cutoff man, and that proceeded to be a double play on Aubrey Major, who wasn't able to tag at first in time. The next inning featured a leadoff man aboard with nobody out, and Parker Chavers lined right back to the pitcher for a double play. 2-1, swing and a miss. Good changeup down and out from Beloso. 2-2. Couple other SEC rivals going at it here. Much more closer in proximity. Ramage from Arkansas and Beloso from LSU. It's a good rivalry game that's kind of budded in football since the early days of the SEC. 2 great baseball programs as well. Beloso stays alive with a foul off the end of the bat. Dave Van Horn, the head coach for the Hogs in Fayetteville. Beloso coached by the great Paul Maneri at LSU. 2-2. Fastball runs inside. Full count now. 6-1 Bourne, top of the 8th inning. 2 outs, bases clear. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Beloso. Ramage working out of the windup. Payoff on the way. Fastball. Got him swinging downstairs. Cole Ramage with a strikeout to cap off the top of the 8th. But Bourne strikes big time. It's Judd Fabian with a 3-run home run. And that makes it 6-1 to the Bourne Braves here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Kettleers coming to the plate. When we return, work to do for Cotuit at home. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Is down 6-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning against Bourne. New pitcher on for Bourne, Tyler Brocious, a right-handed submariner. He's from Rhody, University of Rhode Island. No record with a 2.45 earned run average. It's his 7th appearance on the season. He has 4 saves for Bourne. And it's not a save situation right now, but he's up against 9-1-2 in the Kettleer lineup. Adam Oviedo, Nick Gonzalez, and then Aubrey Major. Judd Fabian, a 3-run home run to spark a 4-run 8th for Bourne. That's provided some big tack-on runs for the Bravos on the road against the Kettleers. Brocious from the stretch, and the subby slings in strike one, a fastball at 84 miles an hour. Adam Oviedo down to the count, 0-1. Ovi's 1 for 2, singled in the 3rd, grounded to 1st back in the 5th. The 0-1. Breaking ball slashed into right center field. Hess gets under it. He's got it for out number 1. Well, Arm, a tough day at the plate for the Kettleers. Only 1 run on 6 hits. A little bit of a letdown after last night's 11-run outburst that featured a little bit of everything. And now one of the little agenda items for Cotuit is Nick Gonzalez at the plate here, working on an 0 for 3 day. This is probably his last chance to extend his 24-game on-base streak.
We know Bourne can pitch. If there's one thing they can do, it's toss the ball on the mound.
Hard ground ball to second. Morissette plays it on to Beloso. 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th. Nick Gonzalez now 0 for 4, barring a big-time rally. His 24-game on-base streak is about to snap here against the Bourne Braves in the 25th game of the season.
And it's the first time in 80 games for him that he doesn't reach base. It's got to feel like an eternity since he didn't stand on first base. But what a streak it was. And hopefully the Kettleers can get him up. You know, it's still a shot with 1 out to spare here and 4 outs to spare in the game.
Bases empty, 2 away. Aubrey Major takes a breaking ball that ran inside and went to the backstop. 1 ball and no strikes on Aubrey, batting from the left side. He's 2 for 3 with a couple of singles today. Doubled off back in the 6th on the hard fly ball to left field off the bat of Casey Schmidt, who's on deck. 1-0. Fastball outside. Brocious falls behind. 2 balls and no strikes. So Gonzalez a pair of flyouts to right field today. He also grounded into a double play at second before that routine ground ball here in the bottom of the 8th. Brocious the 2-0. Fastball low and outside again. 3 balls and no strikes on Major.
That's a really heavy fastball there from the submarine arm angle. It has some tail away from the left-handed hitter. And, of course, it tails in on the hands of righties, and that's just tough to hit.
3-0 pitch. It's a ball. Ball 4 to Aubrey Major. He's aboard for the 3rd time in 4 plate appearances this afternoon. And he makes way for Casey Schmidt, who comes to the plate working on a 1 for 3 day. Mentioned to you that he hit a hard fly ball to left, which turned into a 7-6-3 double play. That was back in the 6th. Major aboard with a 4-pitch walk. Brocious still works out of the stretch. Defense plays normal up the middle. Beloso holds on at first. Warren a little tighter to the line at 3rd. First pitch to Schmidt. Spiked on top of the mound. Good jumping play by Brocious, who makes it on to first for out number 3. No runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on for the Kettleers in the 8th. On to the 9th. Bourne 6 and Cotuit 1 here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to Cotuit. Bourne 6 and the Kettleers 1. Top of the 9th inning. Sam Niederman alongside Aram Layton. Tonight's broadcast sponsored by Cape Cod Healthcare, the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute care hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. That's Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, and superior care. Another sponsor, Curry College, where you can earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, you can visit online at curry.edu. That's Curry College, curry.edu. Kettleers trail 6-1 in the top of the 9th. Bourne at the plate one more time against a new pitcher. Jackson Wolf enters the ball game for the Kettleers. Lefty out of West Virginia, who typically plays in the rotation. He has started 4 times. This is his first appearance out of the bullpen. 0-1 with a 3.05 earned run average. He last pitched on Saturday against Chatham, in which he lasted 3 innings and gave up 2 runs on 2 hits. Walked 1 and struck out 1. What do you look for out of the big lefty from Gahanna, Ohio?
Well, it's his first look out of the bullpen, like you said, and he's pitching with a 5-run deficit. Just pound the strike zone, work on something here, right? You just got to work on getting righties out, try and work on that off-speed pitch. Probably just a little bullpen session, I put with air quotes, before his next start.
Wolf against 4, 5, and 6 in the Bourne lineup. Glowenke, Morissette, and then Poland. First pitch, grounded hard on the left side, scooped up by Schmidt. A little juggle on the transfer, but he's able to make the throw for out number 1.
And he really fires that ball across the diamond. Of course, he throws pretty hard on the mound, can touch the low 90s, but I love seeing him show that arm off when he throws it across. It's pretty impressive.
Another good play by Casey over there at the hot corner. Glowenke wraps up his day 1 for 5 with an RBI single back in the 3rd. Cody Morissette 1 for 3 with a single and a walk. And he takes a strike from Wolf. Good slider at the knees. 0-1. Morissette has reached in 6 consecutive games now. Looks at a breaking pitch in the other batter's box. Curveball at 73 miles an hour. 1-1. 6-1 Bourne, top of the 9th with 1 out and the bases empty. Judd Fabian, a 3-run shot in the 8th to put the game in a 5-run deficit for Cotuit. 2 balls and a strike on Morissette. The crowd has quieted down at Lowell Park. Sun begins to set softly to our left on the third base side. Some of the fans on the third base grandstand have filed out of here. 2-1 from Wolf. Fastball spun up high. 3 balls and 1 strike. 6 runs on 12 hits for Bourne, 1 error. 1 run on 6 hits and 1 error for the Kettleers at home. 3-1. Wave and a miss. Got him on a fastball at the knees. Full count now on Morissette. Jared Poland on deck for Bourne. Payoff. Fastball downstairs. Ball 4. Morissette works his second walk of this game. He's aboard with 1 out in the 9th for Bourne, and Jared Poland back at the plate for the 5th time today. We knew the Kettleers would be short-staffed heading into this one. Mike Roberts said before the game there would only be 4 pitchers available. Wolf is the 5th one we've seen. Beckway began the game, traditionally a reliever in all 8 appearances before this one. He worked 2+ innings and allowed 2 runs. Then Chris Holcomb came in for the middle innings. Evan Justice after that. Cole Ramage pitched in the 8th inning. And Wolf's on for, as Arm told you, a little bit of a bullpen session in the 9th.
I thought Holcomb was really impressive today. Probably the most impressive arm we saw today out of the Kettleers bullpen.
Poland bats from the right side, 1 for 3. A hit batsman in the 2nd, popped up to first in the 3rd. A fly out to right in the 5th. And a double and a run scored back in the 8th. 1-0 slider runs low and in. 2 balls and no strikes. Cotuit got the big win against Wareham last night to regain first place by a point. But the Gatekeepers lead 8-2 on the road against YD. If both of these results hold, Kettleers will be back down in second place by just a point. 2-0, sliced off foul on the right side. 2-1 on Poland. Poland out of Louisville, native of Fishers, Indiana. Played his high school ball with the Cathedral Irish on 56th Street. McWhorter holds on the runner at first. 2-1 home. Fastball lifted in the air. Foul territory on the right side, but it's out of play. Even count, 2-2. Poland seeing the ball pretty well. Hit 2 for 5 last night with a double and 3 driven in. Back-to-back games with a double after he led off the 8th with a 2-bagger. Came home to score on the throwing error from Gonzalez in that inning. Wolf looks at the runner. Leg lift in the 2-2. Curveball looped out to short. Oviedo, Gonzalez. Nice job. Double play, 6-4-3. And that retires a side. Jackson Wolf comes on and works around a 1-out walk. And the Kettleers get their last chance. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Bourne 6 and Cotuit 1 on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. For the Kettleers, bottom of the 9th inning, 6-1 Bourne. Cotuit begins at the plate with a number 4 spot and a pinch hitter. Colton Kessler enters the game. He bats from the left side against the right-hander and Tyler Brocious. Subby whips in, ball 1, a fastball that runs in on the shins. 1 ball and no strikes. Kessler gets an at-bat. He replaces Mason McWhorter, who finishes up 0 for 3. Cam Hill in the on-deck circle, and then Parker Chavers. 4, 5, and 6 for the Kettleers, who trail 6-1 in the bottom of the 9th. Brocious set, 1-0. Twisted off foul, 1-1. Judd Fabian, the difference offensively for Bourne. He cranked out a 3 for 5 day, left the yard on the first pitch of the game. A solo shot in the first. Bookended it with a 3-run shot in the top of the 8th, rather. Brocious ready, hinges over at the waist, 1-1. Low and in at the ankles, 2-1 on Kessler. Kessler, another start last night, went 0 for 3 and reached twice on 2 walks and scored 2 runs as well. Harrison Rutkowski in line to be the winning pitcher for Bourne, 5 innings, a 1-run ball. 2-1. Low fastball at the ankles, 3 balls and 1 strike.
Small sample size so far from Brocious, but it seems like he struggles a little bit to locate against those left-handed hitters. We talked about how it tails into righties. If you leave that inside on a left-handed hitter, it'll tail back over the plate, and that can end up leaving the yard. It's a perfect pitch to hit, and you can see him being careful of that.
3-1, spoiled off foul on the left side. Full count now on Kess. Handful of Kettleer fans have stuck around for this one. A gentle sunset at Lowell Park. Cotuit trying to find some way back into this one, down 6-1. 3-2, smashed into center. Kessler with a leadoff pinch hit single in the bottom of the ninth.
Great job by Kessler there to wait on that. Just 85, but it's heavy. And it was down in the zone. He just dropped the barrel on it and drove it right back up the middle.
A little bit of life for Cotuit. Kessler, the leadoff base hit in the bottom of the ninth. He'll be held on by Beloso at first base. Cam Hill at the plate, his Kentucky teammate, came on as a pinch runner with nobody out in the seventh and was doubled off on an L1 back to the pitcher off the bat of Chavers, who's on deck. Hill bats from the left side, middle of the infield at double play depth. Beloso now backs off the base runner at first. First pitch from Brocious. Fastball just misses away, 1 ball and no strikes. Actually, another pinch hitter due up in the on-deck circle. Christian Robinson stands there. Left-handed batting outfielder from Stanford. Also looks like Dante Williams is ready to follow him in the number 7 spot. Brocious misses down and away again on Hill with a fastball, 2-0. Bourne 1 run in the first, another in the third, and 4 coming home in the 8th. Kettleers scored their only run of the third. Arajanu a solo jack. 2-0. Fastball looped in on the heart of the plate for a strike. 2-1 on Hill. Kessler leads off first base. Beloso stands right behind him. 2-1 home. Hit up the middle. Not into center field after Glowenke tried to dive for it. Not in time. And Cam Hill comes up with a single. It's back-to-back base hits for the Kettleers in the bottom of the ninth.
Great job just working up the middle on this side armor. And they're just able to let this ball get deep and keep punching it right back up where it came from.
Parker Chavers went 1 for 3 today with an infield hit. He's lifted here in the bottom of the ninth with 2 on and nobody out for a pinch hitter. Christian Robinson a chance to make an impact. Kettleers down 6-1 in the bottom of the ninth inning. Robinson bats from the left side. Tyler Brocious, the right-handed submarine pitcher, into a little bit of trouble after surrendering 2 base hits in a row against the Kentucky boys, Kessler and Hill. He's set at the belt. First pitch, Robinson drives it into left. It stays in the yard for Fabian. Out number 1. Robinson sees 1 pitch and flies out to left field. 1 down with 2 base runners on. And the number 7 spot up next. Joey Loperfido pinch hit for Robbie Martin back in the 7th and reached on an error. Another pinch hitter in this spot in Mike Roberts' order. It's Dante Williams who comes on. Williams a chance. He came on late in last night's game as a pinch runner in Wareham and scored. 2 on with 1 out, nobody holding, and a fastball low from Brocious. 1 ball and no strikes. Arajanu on deck. He had the solo home run back in the 3rd. Has hit the ball pretty well today in 3 at-bats. 1 for 3. Brocious ready. The 1-0. Breaking pitch in the dirt. Scoots away from Campbell up the first base line. Kessler moves up to third base. Cam Hill stays put behind him at first.
Good read by Kessler and a smart move by Cam Hill. You're chasing 5 runs. If you didn't get a good jump on it, no reason to try and force the issue at second base. His run's not that important, but the out is.
First and third now for the Kettleers in the bottom of the 9th inning. 6-1 Bourne. Dante Williams at the plate from the left side. Tyler Brocious trying to find a way to lock it down for Bourne. Middle of the infield at double play depth. Fastball on the inside corner, 2-1 on Dante. Williams, a 189 batter so far, 7 hits and 37 trips at the plate. 1 homer, it came at the short fence at YD. He's driven in 2 overall. 2 out there for him right now on the corners. 1 down, Kettleers down by 5 runs. 2-1. Fastball low at the ankles again. Brocious just can't seem to bring it up into the zone, and it's 3 balls and a strike on Williams.
And the Kettleer hitters are doing a really good job of leaving that one down. Talk about the heavy sink to it. It's easy to chase it, but they're letting it go and make it and bring it up to them and get a good pitch to hit. Good hitters count here.
Big pitch. Here's the 3-1. Fastball hit off the end of the bat, foul into the parking lot. Full count.
That was a great spot on that 3-1 pitch from Brocious. Just tailed right away from the middle of the plate, and not much Williams could do with that pitch, and now it's 3-2.
The Kettleers are down 6-1 in the bottom of the ninth. Colton Kessler and Cam Hill came up with back-to-back singles to lead off the inning. They're on first and third with 1 out. Hill hops off first. He's on the move. 3-2 to Williams. Fastball low and in. Ball 4. The Kettleers fill up the bases against Brocious with a big power hitter coming to the plate and Arajanu down 6-1.
Tying runs on deck. Big power hitter and a new, and a guy that he can really get extended against. Just he has to make sure he does not chase.
Arajanu, a switch hitter, scheduled to come to the plate from the left side against the righty and Brocious. Ace Adams, the Bourne pitching coach, comes out to the mound and try and calm things down with his right-handed submariner.
And could they get Nick Gonzalez to the plate in this game, in this inning? Could he get one more crack to extend the streak?
It could be written in the stars. Ace Adams, a quick word. Brocious has worked 4 saves so far this season. He was cruising earlier, worked around a 1-out walk back in the 8th. Now he's gotten himself into trouble. Bases loaded with 1 out in the bottom of the ninth. 6-1. Bourne's on top of Cotuit. Arajanu at the plate, 1 for 3. He's produced the only run of this day for the Kettleers with a solo home run off Harry Rutkowski in the bottom of the 3rd. Williams on first, Hill on second, Kessler on third. Nobody holds. Brocious set, first pitch. Hammered into the left center gap. That's down for extra bases. Kessler scores. Here comes Hill. Williams lost his helmet. He's chugging around third. And Arajanu stumbled at first, but he gets the job done with a bases-clearing single. 3 RBIs for Araj, and that makes it 6-4 here in the bottom of the ninth.
And Araj finally coming back around. He looks locked in today. Homered from the right side, clears the bases from the left side. And exactly what we were saying earlier, got a good pitch that he was able to extend on and drive it the other way. It feels like Brocious was the perfect pitcher for Araj.
We've seen Araj really turn on the motor running around the bases, but that time he ran into a sniper at first and took a tumble around the bag. Otherwise, he would have had a surefire double. Now, hopefully, he's okay. Craig Moody, the Cotuit athletic trainer, goes out there to look at him. Araj with the batting gloves off, hinged over a little bit the hips. Mike Roberts, a long walk from the third base dugout to check on his big switch hitter from Kentucky. A 3 RBI single by Arajanu. That's made it interesting. Bourne still leads 6-4 in the bottom of the ninth, but there's only 1 out and the tying run at the plate at the number 9 spot. That's it for Tyler Brocious. He comes off, and Harvey Shapiro wants to go to his bullpen. We'll get you the new Bourne pitcher when we return. Kettleers with a little bit of a rally in the bottom of the ninth. We'll be right back in just a moment. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Could it be for Cotuit in the bottom of the ninth? Arajanu, a bases-clearing single to make it 6-4. Now the Kettleers have put the pressure on Bourne. Bourne still has the lead. Tying run at the plate. One man on and one out in the bottom of the ninth. Adam Oviedo, the batter. Arajanu has exited the game for a pinch runner in Richard Brereton. Anu a little shaken up after taking a tumble turning around first. And a new pitcher for Bourne to relieve Tyler Brocious. It's Nick Iverson, a right-hander from Gonzaga. No record with a .87 earned run average in 6 appearances. He inherits the runner at first, and Brereton held on by Beloso. Double play depth up the middle. Adam Oviedo 1 for 3 from the right side. Iverson's first pitch, slapped off foul on the right. No balls and 1 strike. Kessler and Hill started this thing off with singles. Robinson flew out to left field. Williams walked with the bases loaded. And then Anu cleared the bases with a 3-run single. It's 6-4 Bourne in the bottom of the ninth. 0-1. Breaking ball popped up. Foul ground, first base side. Beloso might have a play, and he does, right in front of his own dugout for out number 2. A big second out picked up out of the bullpen by Nick Iverson. And the Kettleers are now down to their final out in the bottom of the ninth, trailing 6-4. With guess who? Nick Gonzalez at the plate. 0 for 4, working on his 24-game on-base streak. That's not the priority here, though. It's to try and find a way to bring in Richard Brereton at first and possibly himself as a tying run. Iverson had turned back, and Rich dives back in head first. Gonzalez has been uber aggressive at the plate today. A couple of flyouts to right, 2 groundouts to second base. First pitch from Iverson. Fastball upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. (6-4) Bourne, bottom of the ninth. Kettleers at the plate with a runner on first and 2 down. Anu's 3-run single has given Cotuit a little bit of life late. Can Gonzalez finish it off? 1-0 fastball, high at the letters at 90 miles an hour, and it's 2-0. The sun's setting down behind the trees. Pretty dark at Lowell Park. We started at 5:01. It's 7:48. Beloso holds on Brereton. Iverson ready at the belt. 2-0 to Gonzo. Fastball high and tight. It's a 3-0 count.
You wonder if Coach Roberts gives Gonzalez the green light here, 3-0. We know he can swing it. He can poke it out of the ballpark. And he's the tying run like you said, Sam.
Aubrey Major on deck. 6-4 Bourne, bottom 9. Man on 2 outs. Iverson needs a strike. 3-0. He gets a strike right down the heart of the plate. 3-1. Everybody up on the third base dugout ledge for the Kettleers. Brereton off first base. 3-1 to Gonzalez. Fastball fouled off behind home plate, and it's full.
Big swing there from Nick on a high fastball. He just missed that one.
Anu, the 3-run single to pull the Kettleers within 2. It's 6-4 Bourne in the bottom of the ninth. 2 outs and a man on first, and Brereton. Beloso backs off. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Gonzalez. Iverson, payoff pitch. Fastball golfed into right center field, but it's going to hang up there for Hess, and he makes the play for out number 3. The Kettleers fall to the Bourne Braves 6-4 despite a rally in the bottom of the ninth. And we'll be back to wrap it up on the other side of this break. This is Cotuit Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Welcome back to Lowell Park. It is a final. The Kettleers lose today against the Bourne Braves by a score of 6-4. And we're here to wrap it up with you. Sam Niederman alongside Aram Layton. Big thanks to our media team today. Josh Rothstein and Jacob Cohen. Josh Muir, cameraman of the booth, with us as well. Hope you've enjoyed his great work on our social media platforms. It was a tough day for the Kettleers, Aram. They were trailing from the get-go. Judd Fabian set the tone for Bourne with a leadoff home run against Beckway on the first pitch of this game. He capped things off with a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th, and he really was the player of the game from a Bourne perspective.
I mean, just starting the ball game off, first pitch, he pokes it out into left field. He really set the tone for this Bourne offense that came into the ball game hot, hitting over 300 in their last 5 games. They keep the ball rolling, and they were just really good today from the get-go, like you said, Sam. And Judd Fabian with 2 home runs, he just led the way.
The Kettleers had a chance to mount a rally in the bottom of the 9th inning. Colton Kessler and Cam Hill led things off with back-to-back singles. Then Christian Robinson came on as a pinch hitter and flew out to left field. It looked like Mike Roberts was emptying his bench when Dante Williams came to the plate with 2 on and 1 out. But then he worked a walk to load up the bases, making way for none other than Arajanu, who produced the only run to that point with a solo home run back in the bottom of the 3rd for the Kettleers. He ripped a 3-run single into the left center gap. It would have been a double for sure, but he tripped going around first base, exited with a minor injury. Hopefully he's okay. But then the Kettleers had 2 opportunities with 2 outs, or 1 out rather, and a man on, and the tying run at the plate. Adam Oviedo popped up to first base and foul ground. And then Nick Gonzalez flew out to right field on a full count. Thoughts on that final last inning, especially with Nick Gonzalez at the plate, whose 24 on-base streak has come to an end?
The Kettleers continue to show fight with their backs against the wall. I think that's what you have to take away from that. A 6-1 game, and it seemed like it was out of reach, and they just fought and fought against a pitcher in Brocious that had 4 saves and has been good all year. They chased him out of the ball game and just came up short with Oviedo popping out, and Gonzalez just didn't have it today, 0 for 5. But you got to take away some positive aspects of that 9th inning and a good fight from a lot of pinch hitters just putting together good at-bats.
Arajanu, definitely your player of the game on a Cotuit side of things. He wraps up 2 for 4 with a home run and 4 RBIs in his return to the lineup. The Kettleers put out a committee today on the mound. Beckway started, went 2+ innings. Chris Holcomb, Evan Justice, Cole Ramage, and even Jackson Wolf came in to work the 9th. Thoughts on the Cotuit Kettleers pitching staff today?
Chris Holcomb continues to impress. He just looks really good out there. He's been able to stretch out some longer outings. We saw him go over 3 innings in his last outing, pitched a couple today, and he just looks sharp. That 69-mile-an-hour bender is just hard to hit, and he does a great job of mixing up those 3 pitches, the fastball, changeup, and curveball. And he's got to be one of the first guys that Coach Roberts brings out of his bullpen now because he's just been the most effective.
Next up for the Kettleers, a home game against Falmouth tomorrow to wrap up this 2-game homestand. First pitch at 5 p.m. Our pregame show starts at 4:45 p.m. on YouTube. Hear from Coach Roberts here on Mixler.com/Cotuit Broadcasting at about 4:50 p.m. with our pregame interview, and we'll take care of you on all of those platforms for the game. It'll be really fun. Or if you're in the Cape Cod area, make sure that you watch on Comcast Channel 99. That's Comcast Channel 99, YouTube, or Mixler.com/Cotuit Broadcasting. Bourne wins it, 6 runs on 12 hits with 1 error. The Braves left 8 on base. Cotuit 4 runs on 9 hits and 1 error. The Kettleers left 5 on base. Ball game took 2 hours and 49 minutes. It was 80 degrees and sunny. Mike Roberts huddles up with his team on the third base side to sort things out. Bourne goes up to 9 wins and 14 losses. The Cotuit Kettleers drop to 12 wins, 11 losses, and 2 ties, and it looks like Wareham will regain first place in the West Division. They were up 8-2 on YD late in that one the last time that we checked. We will talk to you tomorrow at home against Falmouth. Thank you for joining us. For our entire media production team, Josh Rothstein, Jacob Cohen, Will Kraus, Ben Gainsborough, and Josh Muir, and Aram Layton, my good partner, and I'm Sam Niederman saying good night. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you mañana.